Yes.
Pog.
Okay, so that I'm actually recording my own voice, that would be a good part. Okay, I'm here. I'm alive. Okay, hello everyone. I have a feeling lots of people aren't gonna join because they're gonna be like, ooh, Skyblock event! And then they're probably also gonna be the same people that complain if we make changes based on anything said in here. So if those people make complaints, you're more than welcome to tell them that that's kind of their own fault because they didn't come. But yeah, also feel free to like casually advertise this in guild chat because I do want as many guild members coming as possible so we can get some pretty decent feedback and stuff like that. It's fun. There will be like discussion times where I ask people to, volunteer to speak and stuff like that if they have any issues or changes that they want. I'm gonna kind of be talking a lot. Um, I'm gonna be kind of proposing lots of different random things that aren't really very well thought out, and you guys can shout at me if you don't like them or if you like them. And hopefully we can make some cool changes based off that. And this is just something I'm kind of testing. We may do this again, we may not, depending on how well it goes. We'll see. But there's quite a lot of people here, which is cool. So first of all, we will go ahead and start our first discussion point, if you will. So we're going to start with activity within the guild. So activity within the guild is something that quite a lot of people have mixed opinions on. Some people want us to, make sure that everyone's active within the guild. Some people don't really like the idea of us having too strict activity requirements. It's a mixed bag. Can officers make sure you're not permitting anyone to talk, please, by the way?
I
Um,
don't think that was auto.
yeah, I'm not
Like that
sure.
was
People shouldn't have permission to talk, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's a mobile bug, obviously, or something like that. Not sure. But if anyone does decide to suddenly become speaker, I'm just gonna server mute them. So please don't do that. There will be times for that. I don't know why that's a thing. Discord should have it as a. I will allow free speech towards the end of each discussion point, by the way. I do want people to give their own opinions, but I do want to get to parts. Anyway, so regarding activity, there's a lot of people who want, more activity. We want to, obviously, we want to see and make sure that every single person within the guild is interacting with the guild. However, lots of people, want everyone to be sending like hundreds of messages a day and stuff like that, and that's kind of stupid. Whilst other people, want to be able to kind of have breaks and stuff like that. So it's a mixed bag, and obviously we really don't want to upset anyone with activity changes. So yeah. With that, I will say, right now it's kind of more difficult to kick people from the guild due to the stress put on the trial team. So that comes with two really cool announcements. So first of all, we have decided to promote Nap to co-owner, and he will now be leading the trial team. So that's pretty cool. Which of course means that Angelos will be stepping down to officer to focus on school. And that's just because he's really, really busy with school, so we both decided to promote Nap to officer. I mean, promote Nap to co-owner, yes. Okay, and of course with that is we also really don't want to put a crap ton of stress onto just Nap, because currently he's the only person being able to do trials. So with that, we are opening the trial team, and we will be looking for two new members of the trial team. We'll announce that after the mini event has ended, but that will be put in announcements. So good luck to anyone who applies for that. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I've been like planning this for like a week, you know, remembering exactly what I'm gonna say, and then just please don't say El Angelos. It's fine. It's a him decision. It's not me demoting him. But yeah. So we are gonna go ahead and kind of read out some of the things I've been sent towards um activity and changing activity. So if I quickly go ahead and scroll up this channel, and then quickly open the Google document made by Goobs, and I think it was A9 as well. It's quite far up. Smart. There we go. Okay, okay, so we'll start off with OG members and kind of the worries about OG members. So OG members within the guild. Also, by the way, guys, if you're talking in guild chat in game, I'm not reading guild chat in game, so please keep everything to event chat if possible, so it's easier to read. Especially for people who aren't planning on like speaking when we give you guys time to speak. So with OG members specifically within the guild, something that we've kind of, and I'll admit there's something that we've kind of been doing is not really wanting to kick OG members within the guild due to the effect that that could have on the guild. So, for example, kicking someone could result in, you know, their friends not really feeling like being part of the guild anymore. So we've kind of been resisting kicking those OG people. Now, a lot of people don't really like that, and of course, a lot of people think that they should be treated exactly the same way as everyone else, and should be, you know, treated equally. And I kind of agree with that, but I also see a few points and flaws with that, which I'll probably go over when someone decides to talk. And we'll have kind of like a mini debate, if you will. But yeah. And of course, it's mentioned that a lot of them just don't interact with new members, which is something that we've kind of been wanting and looking to change recently. Um, so yeah, we will definitely be looking at changing that. So the solutions proposed are wanting OG members, we already kind of do that, and just ensuring that we do kick them. So in regards to that, does anyone have any strong opinions that they want to speak up about? I'll kind of split this into multiple parts because there's quite a lot of things. You don't have to tag me every 2 seconds, by the way. If you don't have any opinions, please don't tag me telling me you have no opinions. I don't need to know. I only want to know if people have strong opinions. If you guys just want to tell me in event chat, and I might permit some people that want to talk about to talk. If you haven't already realized, we did kick a few people who we've kind of been resisting kicking a few days ago, but that is in an effort to ensure if they've contributed a lot to the guilds and they need a break, I don't see a problem on that. I really think that the issue is if they're not contributing towards the guild at all, then why shouldn't we just put them on the hovering? I feel like OG members should be kicked if there's a good reason to. It's unfair on people to the waitlist. Yep, I agree with that. It's just so my main issue with kicking OGs, and this has always kind of been the thing, is please don't DM me, by the way. I'm not reading DMs. All in event chat. Keep it to event chat. It's really difficult to monitor like 6 different places. Um, I'm gonna keep scrolling. Anyway, so I think it is important to continue kicking older members. However, we do of course need some kind of balanced system where we ensure that if we do kick those people, it's not going to cause major issues. There are people within the guild that don't really talk a lot, but have been in the guild for a long time and have a lot of meaning within the guild. So we need to create either a balanced system or just have a zero tolerance approach to everyone, which also would have to probably end up including officers, which is something I'm worried about. And people can argue, oh, but officers already do a lot. The issue is, if we're going to have that on one person, we're going to have that on everyone, which is also what I'm worried about. I don't know if my opinion is really, I'm not the most active person in the guild. That's absolutely fine. Again, we're not really, this is kind of one thing that we've wanted to focus on. We don't really want to put people up against each other and be like, you have to be the most active person. We just want like a nice, friendly, interactive community. The fact that you're at this mini event probably means you're not dead, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. If they haven't really said anything about or explained their inactivity, then I don't see why they shouldn't be kicked. Yeah, I agree to an extent. What if I'm dead? If you don't message an officer, that's completely your own fault. That's the way that it's always been. You must message an officer. If we message you, um, if we go ahead and message you and we find that you haven't told an officer, that's completely your own fault, in my opinion. Also, can we kind of keep event chat on topic with just opinions and stuff like that? It's kind of getting really chaotic. I am trying to read everything in event chat right now. Please don't, like, you know, put random crap in there. That meant stop. Can we keep on the current topic, please? Otherwise, I'm just gonna stop reading event chat entirely and only make it so people with mics. Am I active enough? That's not a question that we should really have in event chat. If you'll get a message if you're inactive, letting you know and discussing it in there. But we're not gonna like review people's activity in event chat. Who do you consider an OG member? I'm not going to name anyone specifically, but you know, people that have been in the guild for a long time, people that have formerly had like a lot of meaning within the guilds, you know, like ex-Cookie Council, ex-officers, stuff like that. If OG members try and come back, I'm gonna say the app should be more lenient. Do you think we should have any kind of like easy to quantifiable way to detect if people are an OG member though? Because we need some kind of solid identifier if someone is an OG member or not for the app team. We need some kind of solid identifiers. Otherwise, it's going to be like anyone who's been in the guild for like a month could consider themselves OG. I don't believe that OG members should be treated exactly the same as a new member in terms of activity. That said, I don't think it should be noticeably biased, you know. Yeah, in my opinion, I think they should be given a bit of leniency, but they shouldn't be completely ignored. What if people included him within Uniting the Guild? Uniting the Guild won't be a thing in a couple of days, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Uniting the Guild is just a channel. It doesn't mean anything. It's just for feedback. It's not a special role. It doesn't give you special permissions or anything like that. I don't want that to be a thing. If to see if they're OG, if people say they can remember them and that they were a good addition to the guild, I'd consider them OG. Well, no, because you can probably name pretty much every single trial member who's active right now, and they're not OG. So I don't agree with that. We need definite boundaries to say if someone's OG if we want to kind of make stuff easier. Discord messages, vouchers, time in the guild. Voucher system didn't work. We're not ever implementing that again. That was a mess. Discord messages. What about if people are active in voice chats, in guild chat? Time in the guild could be a thing, but there's also been people in the guild that haven't spoken for like 6 months before, a long time ago when we didn't inactivity kick. VO OG people should be kicked, but not immediately. Should be rethought about since they've been in the guild for so long. Don't do a pull to vote kick people. That's not anything that's been mentioned. We need solid boundaries and solid definitions of what an OG member is if we want to kind of do anything in terms of kicking and not kicking people in terms of OG. 1+ year right now would be fine. If like starting today, if it was like a year on from today, that would be fine. But people a year ago aren't necessarily active within the guild now because a year ago we didn't really have any kind of inactivity kicking system. So I don't necessarily think that people who've been in the guild a year now should qualify. How long does a person have to be inactive to be considered to be kicked from the guild? 1 week. Technically, you get a warning after a week, so it would be 2 weeks before you actually get kicked. However, it would be a week. We don't mind if you message us and say, oh, I'm going to be dead for a week. That's fine. Barely anyone would be considered OG, and it would kind of render it useless. People being considered OG wouldn't, like a few people being considered OG wouldn't render that useless. It would make it so hardly anyone was really included in that, which I think is a good thing. It makes it much easier on the application team. Can you calculate a member's Discord messages per minute? Yeah, but that's not, again, not really relevant. What people fully qualify for the hovering role, that's an announcement somewhere. I'm not reading those out, that'll take too long. I think people should be treated OG or not. They don't speak equals kicked. If they are active, they can stay in for that reason. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. I'm confused by that. For OGs, maybe add an extra week of lenience. We would need, I think, if someone wants to go ahead and run off from this and create some set guidelines of what they think is and isn't considered OG, and we can have a few different proposals and maybe discuss that in the next town hall, or if someone wants to kind of do that right now. But I think that should be something that we should have kind of like a vote on what's good and what's not good. Discord messages are not a good reference, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Potential identifiers for OGness. More than 9 months in the guild or former officers co-owners. That could work. For those who are already considered OG. Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of pin these different things, because that's quite a lot. I think 1 to 2 months is way too much. That means that OG people could go inactive for an entire month, not contribute at all to the guild. I think that's way too much, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. 12 months, maybe more. I don't know how many members we have if someone wants to check who've been in the guild for more than a year. I think it's something like 15 or something like that. In short, Billy, just treat everyone the same with kicking. Whilst I would love to do that, that's not really as easy as you would think. Goobs, lots of those have been kicked or aren't in the guild anymore. Again, that was announced at a time where we kind of didn't have a strong activity kicking system. We now inactivity kick people pretty much every week. If OG members get kicked and come back, will they get into the trial system? I think everyone should be put through the trial system. It ensures that they're still active either way. I don't see a major reason not to have that. I think apps could be a bit more lenient, and then we can kind of make trials exactly the same, because trials are quite strict right now. OG or not, if someone doesn't respond to the warnings and doesn't talk within guild, they should be kicked in the same amount of time. I don't know. It's completely up to you guys. I really want a few different proposals in maybe like a Google Doc or something, and then we can kind of vote on each of the different things, and we can kind of base our decisions off that. Because I definitely want something more set that everyone knows about, that everyone kind of knows is. I want to kind of be more transparent with that, if that makes sense. I want it so everyone knows, oh, if I'm in the guild for 9 months, I can kind of be a tiny bit more inactive for like a bit longer, but I'm still gonna get killed eventually. I can't just completely die. But I want it so that people here that are OG are gonna be biased, so I can't speak. I don't think so. I think that's the exact reason we've done a public event. I think that's the exact reason I want multiple different proposals that people can vote on. Even if it's biased, that's the exact reason. Not shy, they don't just want to interact. A9, I disagree with that. Not everyone just doesn't want to interact. People are busy, people have lives, people are shy. Some people, again, just want to interact with a friend group, yeah. Feel that the Cookie Council is pretty much the OG club? No, we're not gonna have that at all. It's unfair to say, oh, only people in Cookie Council are OG. That's just people who've wanted to help out the guild and help test, not everyone. Well then, for people that OG should get hovering instead of straight up being guest rank, possibly. I think. Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. Yeah, exactly, Tom. So I'll read out what Tom says. Um, the problem is when OG members get kicked from the guild, it can have knock-on effects on other friend groups, which can make groups of people 5 to 10 leaving as a result of one OG getting kicked from the guild. I agree with that, and that's pretty much the main thing that we've kind of been not really kicking people. Yes, it has, Nikki. Which is the exact reason we really don't want to do it. And I really feel like, let's just say if you know someone within the guild, even if they're not fully interactive, it just solidifies you being in the guild a bit more. It's like if someone, it's kind of like Jenga. If someone at the bottom, let's just say an OG, gets removed, it can upset the entire tower. It's difficult. Anyway, I think if anyone wants to go ahead and create a few different Google documents, and then we can kind of have a vote either towards the end of this or in an announcement separately. I'm gonna talk about my previous guild. Guild started to turn bad. One person left. Many people at OG followed them, and the guild is now dead. Exactly right. We have to be careful with that. I feel like I definitely feel like people that are completely if friends would leave due to an OG member being inactive, being kicked, aren't the friend groups already inactive then? I find that if friend groups are leaving due to the OG being inactive, then the friends would become inactive too. Not really. So this is just from being in other guilds before. From being in other guilds before. I know that if one of my friends got kicked and I already wasn't fully 100% kind of integrated with the guild or wasn't really talking to other people, and it can be quite hard to integrate with other people for different reasons. We're not I don't really feel like it's just they don't want to interact. It's various reasons. But I feel like that would make me just want to go to the guild that they're in instead because I don't really see a benefit of kind of staying in a guild without my friends, if that makes sense. So I feel like we definitely don't want to force people. We don't want to. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm gonna stop there. OG members do matter. I think we have to face that fact. Simple. I think I feel though if someone is only in the guild because of another person is in the guild, then that's another problem. The issue is that's not the case, Nikki. It's just people kind of are like I don't know how to explain it, but that's just not the case. It's like I don't really have that person in the guild. I could be in another guild with that person. Yeah. Having inactive members, a few people leaving. Yes, Scoops, that's fine. But at the same time, a few people may not just stick to a few people. Once friends of that friend leave, and then friends of those friends leave, it causes a massive domino effect. It's like having your best friend in the other class, you try and get in on that class. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think we should probably switch to a different topic, otherwise we're just gonna sit and talk about this topic forever. But yeah, if anyone wants to kind of make a transparent document where we can clearly identify who's OG and who isn't, I would like that because I want to be a bit more transparent with kicks so people can't be like, oh, you're not just kicking this person because of this, this, and this. It is genuinely because their class is OG. People would never get kicked from the guild without reason, Aras. It's just either they don't want to tell you, or we just don't ever discuss that. But trust me, people don't ever get kicked from the guild for no reason. I'll say that right now. If they're kicked, they're either kicked for inactivity or rule breaking. Trust me, we don't just randomly kick people for no reason. I don't think I've ever kicked someone for zero reason at all. Apart from maybe Oscar, but that doesn't really count. However, if anyone wants to go ahead and create those documents, I think it's time to change topic, otherwise we're going to be talking about that for ages. So, anyway, that's the OG members part. Trial members. So, let me read this section. Blah 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 blah. So TCF has a lot of cool and friendly members, which we love interacting with. However, we don't really see a lot of new faces. I disagree. Think we see quite a few faces every single week. Um, However, yeah. Nad, that may be because you're not really talking in event chat. If you talk in event chat and give your opinions on things, then I can kind of respond to them. It's not the, most fun event ever, but like, these discussions need to happen, and I feel like this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. But I definitely feel like people could maybe, kick off because we make some changes based on things said in the event and they just weren't here. So I think it's kind of important for people to be here so they can at least show that they're angry at things and happy with things. But I think like the way can we keep event chat on topic please, by the way? Lava, I think that would be harmful, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna continue reading. Can we keep event chat fully on topic, please? Officers. Anyway, often people join and somehow pass their trial, and it seems that they become okay. So let me just talk about one point first. Often people join and somehow pass their trial. People don't randomly pass their trial. The trial is difficult to pass. I'm not gonna put any kind of numbers or anything like that, but trust me on this. The trial is difficult to pass. If those people are passing, it's for reasons like they're active. Trust me, we don't just randomly promote people. I don't think for the past 3 months or so we've promoted a single random person. Yeah, time zones exist. Um, Often people pass the trial and become way less active on Discord and in game just after their trial has been passed. So I agree with that. And personally, and just from myself personally, I don't know a way to fix that. So I think we should first combat that point. How would you say after someone's passed a trial, we should monitor people's activity without giving specific numbers or anything like that because I don't feel like that's helpful. But what do you think? Let's just not say kicking people. Let's come at this from a point of encouraging people to be active rather than kicks. So, kind of like giving ideas for encouraging people that have been in the guild for a bit after passing their trial to continue being active. Let's not discuss kicks. Let's discuss ways to encourage them, because kicks are already a thing that's a separate part of the discussion. So, let's we're gonna just like merge three different things at once. Can you please not ask questions and stuff in here as well? This is all for feedback. You can DM officers. Okay, so people do become more active as they socialize with the community and play with guild members. Again, how do we encourage that? You can say facts, but we need ways to encourage it, not just identifying the facts. Member of the Month encourages people. I don't know if Member of the Month actually does encourage people. I'm not fully sure if it does fully encourage people. You could have like a secret trial for a week after their actual trial. I don't think it's a week after. I think it's more a couple months after, rather than instantly. I think instantly people are fine, but for a couple months after. There are quite a few people who don't go to events during and after their trial period. Time zones exist, Tom. So I don't think events are the best way of tracking people's activity. Tracking who goes to events and DMing new promoted members who didn't attend the event. So this is something I've been considering for a while. I think we should DM every single person within the guild that hasn't attended an event within the last 3 months and be like, could you explain why you aren't attending events? Is it because of time zones? Is it because you don't find them fun? Or what? I don't feel like a secret trial a week after is a great idea. Um, Maybe something after, but we already do activity checks. Mini event timing is all over the place. Not really. They're pretty much all at like very, 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 very few hours between, and I don't really think there's much we can do about that currently. Also you should apply for mini event host, anyone who's here. We do strongly recommend that, even if you don't feel confident and stuff like that. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna continue passing over that part. Um, I consider myself involved, but I can't play. Yeah, exactly. I'd say that Chips, you're kind of an example of someone who isn't, fully always on Hypixel or fully always on Discord, but you're still quite involved within the community. So yeah, it's quite difficult sometimes to judge activity based on just numbers, which is something that I'm kind of worried about. You do have to have a mic to apply for mini event host, by the way. Yeah, but I don't talk in voice chat a lot. You don't need to talk, you just need to be in voice chats. Not everyone has to be in voice chats, but ideally you should let an officer know if you're fully unable to be in a voice chat, but ideally we'd like to see absolutely every single guild member in voice chats. Yeah, I don't mind people, not being on Hypixel. I don't mind people playing other games in voice chats with other people. I think that's honestly one of the best things we could probably do as a community is sit and play other games in voice channels. You have no idea how much having another game and playing another game with another guild member is like it just you have no idea how much friendships can be made from playing other games. And I think those are more permanent friendships than just playing, you know, Bed Wars or something like that. I genuinely think you guys, if you can, if you have other games, feel free to invite guild members to play other games. It's one of the best ideas you guys can do. Yeah, I definitely think other games are a good idea. Events to play other games, Jackbox and Exambox can be really fun. Other games depends. We've tried Overwatch and stuff like that, and that hasn't gone amazingly. We just haven't had enough people wanting to do those. I think those should be unofficial rather than official, but it wasn't the most popular of things. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone has the game. Most people don't have the game. Downloads take too long. It gets messy, and then you have the stupid account systems. It gets a mess to do in actual things. But I definitely think, website events, easy events to run, you know, those kind of things, Among Us even, are really easy to kind of bind people together. By the way, officers, feel free to pin any like good ideas and stuff like that that you guys see, because I might miss some things in event chat. I'll check the pins tonight once writing the announcement. Anyway, so I think we should continue. So specifically within the trial member part, trial members don't get kicked because they're active in game. That's not the case. We have a two-tier warning system. I'll just kind of briefly discuss how our entire activity system currently works, and people can suggest changes. I'm not complaining. A matchmaking bot is already planned to be a thing. We'll announce that at a good time. It's almost done, but yeah. Maybe we can do reminders a day before. That doesn't work. The people that see that aren't going to be the ones attending. Officers, feel free to pin stuff that I miss or like, tag me with anything that I miss or reply to things individually. I think the event host could like stream the events. No, because then it's really difficult to figure out who's in the event and who isn't in the event. It's the same reason I'm not a massive fan of like officers sitting in the event room and not coming to the event. It makes it really confusing to track who's in the event and who's not. I think maybe on like Twitch or something like that could be a good idea to kind of stream things on. But I don't think in the actual Discord channel itself is the best of ideas. But yeah, YouTube or something we could think about. I'll talk about I'll talk to growth team about that. It might be a good idea. However, we do have a two-tier warning system, as I was saying. So I'll quickly, briefly explain this. So we have a red warning system. This isn't like a thing that you'll ever get, like a DM being like, you're on a red warning or you're on an orange warning. But we have two things. We have a red warning, which is for people that are fully dead, and then we have an orange warning, which is for people who are kind of like active in-game but not active on Discord. Um, and the idea of splitting that in two is to ensure that people aren't getting, severely warned for being active in one area. However, we've also noticed that warnings for that don't tend to work long term, and we just end up keep messaging the person every few weeks, being like, please be more active on Discord. So I think we really need to kind of have more reasons for people to talk on Discord. I think it's not really about, forcing people to be active with messages, it's more about encouraging it. It's the same reason, for example, encouraging people to be online. For example, today, if we tried to encourage 50 people to log in at once through messages and threats, probably wouldn't work. But having something that kind of unites everyone and makes everyone kind of want to come on, with, for example, the whatever Dante event, is something that kind of encourages everyone. Everyone wants to come on. I think we should give people a reason rather than forcing them to. So I don't really know. I think maybe someone's probably going to mention, "Oh, we should have an XP bot that encourages people to chat." That's not something that's going to happen. Don't worry. But like we need to encourage people. I think if someone wants to come up with some different ways to encourage people, I'd be more than happy to kind of discuss that as well. So if you guys want to discuss that in event chat whilst I continue, and I can kind of jump back to that. By the way, this is only like one small part of the actual town hall. This might last a couple of hours. It's recorded if you guys can't make it to the end, but I'd prefer as many people staying as possible so we can kind of have more discussions. For me, Member of the Month encourages me to be active. I don't know. I don't think Member of the Month does encourage that much activity, but I'm not sure. I think the issue is Member of the Month, lots of people just don't want it. People don't really care about it. I don't know if there's a better way to do Member of the Month. Again, if anyone has any ideas on that, feel free to keep suggesting them. I'm more than happy to kind of get as many. This is kind of like more of like an officer brainstorming kind of thing where you can kind of take this to officer discussions and then put it in guild chat and just keep having discussions because obviously we want the guild to become more active. Obviously, we're definitely not complaining about more activity. Um, but yeah, if you guys want to suggest further things, feel free to put that. Please keep event chat on topic though, because event chat is painful to read right now. Um, so, so, um, making Discord activity more, making Discord more, making Discord activity more of a deciding factor if a trial member gets accepted or denied. It already is a big factor. I'll come to this later, but I think behavior should be a bigger factor. But I'll talk about that later. As for warning people who are inactive about their Discord activity in a friendly and non-threatening way, we already do that with the orange warnings. Member of the month getting a permanent cosmetic would be cool. Do you have any ideas for permanent cosmetics and what those could be other than a role? Because I really don't like the idea of having hundreds of roles. What about a custom approach? Instead of an XP bot, you can have some kind of currency. We have planned in the past to give like mystery boxes where you can get like name icons and stuff like that for coming to events. That's something we could possibly relook at, but I'm not sure how many people actually want that to happen. So I feel like we could maybe have a separate town hall in the future on that, because that's not one of the topics. But anything from this one, we're more than happy to have like a follow-up town hall next weekend or something like that. Permanent list. I don't really know if a list of member of the months would help. I mean, it definitely does having it on like the wiki and the thread, but I'm not sure if that's enough to, you know, maybe like a weekly town hall event. I don't have enough time for that, unfortunately. Yeah, we're not doing Optifine capes. I don't have enough money for that. No. I feel like I feel like we just need to have some kind of we need to design more ways to yeah, we definitely will have them. I mean, more often. This is the first one. I'm not sure how often or anything like that. People that get a member of the month could have an NPC of them in the server hub. That's a cool idea. I'm not against that. If you can think of kind of like a place we can put that in where they're actually going to get seen, if an officer wants to pin that, by the way. Maybe Hypixel Gold? No. I don't have like people I don't think people realize I'm not throwing money at people constantly. I don't want to become like a giveaway guild or anything like that. You could host it, that's fine, Lava, but realistically, you're not going to be in the guild forever. I don't think that's a great idea. I don't want to encourage people with gold. I don't know. Like, it's the same way I'm kind of wanting to move. It's the same way I kind of want to move, like, mini events with, like, tournaments away from having rewards as much and kind of see if that works or not. Maybe people who get Member of the Month twice get something that's really difficult. You can only get it once every 6 months. It's really difficult to happen. Make a permanent role like Member of the Month 2020. That's so many roles. No, I really don't want to do roles. I want other ways apart from roles. Discuss the tournament role thingy. If you mean with permanent tournament winners, possibly, but I don't know. I think that should be an actual suggestion rather than discussed here. I don't really see too much of a reason to discuss that here. Since that's about events, not really activity. Cosmetics that are yet to be released. I'm currently looking towards developing stuff on Mineplex, so I don't think splitting my time with development on the actual server and Mineplex is a great idea. For now, maybe in the future. Um, more rewards for active people in general. Not just one person every month. It's rewarding, but yeah, I definitely see how that's motivating. Not, we have plans to kind of DM every single person we see is really active, and be like, thanks for being active, but I don't know if that's enough. I feel like a copy and paste message from officers just isn't enough. If you guys could think of other ways to do that, I'd be more than happy to implement those. In advance, if it involves the words trusted, active member, it's denied instantly. We're not adding any kind of extra rule towards the guild being like, you're active. I don't think that's a good idea. It doesn't work. A message from you, Billy. I don't think a copy and paste message from even me is the greatest idea. Um, could we stop the whole discussion about the anonymous feedback form? That's nothing to do with what we're currently discussing. Um, if you guys have ideas to encourage everyone to be active, which is what I was saying with like in the newsletter, you could mention the people who are in the running. Would that not create some arguments and unfair competition though? I don't think making the newsletter too big is an issue, but would that not, you know, would that not create competition being like that person should have gotten it instead of that person because that person's more active and stuff like that? I don't know if that would necessarily be the best of ideas. However, I feel like that could be a separate suggestion. That doesn't already happen now, is honestly, I don't think people care about Member of the Month enough to really have that argument right now. Um, but yeah, I feel like you guys can suggest any kind of ideas. Keep suggesting ideas for encouraging general activity. Again, I don't really want to talk about the kicking aspect of things a ton. I will probably, kind of maybe have that in the next thing. I'd rather talk about encouraging everyone to be active because the kicking aspect is something we can change overnight. I feel like encouraging people to be active long term is something. Maybe an FAD from the bot. I don't think that's. I mean, it's a cool idea. I think everyone kind of wants that, but like, I don't know if that's enough still. I think, yeah, maybe we can do that for members of the month. If someone wants to pin that, I'll add that for members of the month, sure. Why not? It doesn't really affect anything. It used to affect things, but it doesn't affect things anymore. But sure. I think being on the bots friends list is kind of cool. People check the bots friends list a lot, being like, oh, this is exclusive, but I don't know. I don't think threatening people to kick is a good idea. I think it kind of needs to happen at some point, but I don't feel like every single week is the greatest idea. Removing member of the month, you can suggest that. I don't think that's a great idea. Adding every member of the month, I think we can remove people after a year if they leave the guild, in my opinion, but I'm not sure about that. Again, stay on topic. It's really hard to read everything. With a Twitter follow, we're not doing Twitter follows. I only want Twitter follows for officers. Twitter follows equals endorsement. That's not something I really want too much. Activity is sometimes out of the guild control. That's absolutely fine. That's where we start messaging people and having that discussion in DMs. However, we do also the most people within the guild are always gonna kind of have an interest in Minecraft. The people who aren't are the people that would probably end up getting removed anyways. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think removing the member of the month is something we should discuss here. Separate suggestion, please. I don't think there's point. I don't think there's a point in discussing that. Um. Anyway, so let's discuss solutions to trial members. No, actually, let's. I think we've already kind of started discussing that, but yeah. Yeah, we haven't even. We're only on the first topic. Yeah, I feel like if people are completely not wanting to play Minecraft, they're more than welcome to kind of discuss that with us, and we can discuss giving them hovering during the period where they're kind of taking a break from Minecraft. Um, I don't want to fully remove them from the community, if that makes sense. There's definitely people, for example, like Ludwig and Floof, who are kind of not playing Minecraft right now. I really don't want to fully exclude them from the community. I want them to be as involved in the community as possible. They're amazing people. I want to talk to them constantly, but I understand they don't feel like playing Minecraft. I think it's best for someone else to kind of. Um, hovering can't be asked for, yeah, but you can DM us saying that you're planning on leaving due to not wanting to play Minecraft, and we can discuss that. Again, that's something you would need to DM us in advance about anyway. I feel like you should be DMing us. Potentially, we can even offer some solutions to maybe enjoying Minecraft a bit more, some variation in the games you play rather than just Hypixel constantly, stuff like that. People who don't get 6 hours on Hypixel are gonna get hovering. That has nothing to do with it. 6 hours. Are there hard requirements for hovering? You get invited to it. You can't ask for it. But if you DM us about issues and stuff like that, we can maybe consider you for it then. 6 hours per week. That's 6 hours per week has nothing to do with anything anymore. That was removed ages ago. Please just forget that ever existed. People quitting Minecraft shouldn't get hovering, but people taking a break should get hovering. A YT channel for the guild has nothing to do with activity at all. Again, not something should be discussed here. It was on the guild thread. It's not on the guild thread anymore. It was on the guild thread ages ago. I don't think it's on the guild thread anymore. If it is, you can DM me and I can change that tonight. That shouldn't be on the the guild thread anymore. But yeah, that's not something we've ever tracked, so it's not something we care about. Do trials even read that stuff? If they don't read that, that's their own fault, in my opinion. It's really easy to read. We've made it as easy as possible to read. Making it simpler would miss out all of the details, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but flip, after that long, if it's like a year break, they should have to reapply anyways. I think if it's just, couple month break here and there, I don't think that's a major issue. We can invite them back after that, but people can change over time as well, so we don't want to, make it permanent or anything like that. Anyway, let's skip. Um, so let's discuss members going inactive. I think we've pretty much been discussing that the entire time, not gonna lie, we kind of, just wondering, high activity in Discord and low activity in Minecraft is okay? Not really. We want everyone to be active everywhere. You'll get a message being like, we've seen that you haven't really been active in game. Um, yeah, why? Stuff like that. We're gonna be discussing that soon, Nikki. There's different parts. I think this is pretty much the major part though. Anyway, members going inactive. I'm gonna just keep kind of going down things. We've went off topic quite a lot, but that's fine. I don't really mind. It's kind of more brainstorming and just discussing random crap. I would say that Discord activity is more important. Yeah, I agree with that. However, not everyone really wants to be fully active on Discord, and I think we should kind of look out for those people. There are people who don't really feel like talking in text chat all the time, but they love playing in Minecraft with people, so it depends. It is something we have to look out for. Every single person in the guild should be at least a bit active on the platform that they don't really like. I don't want to ever see anyone with like 0 in Minecraft or 0 in Discord. Also, if anyone suggests a GXP requirement and all that's instantly denied, even if it gets like every single upvote ever, I'm denying that. That's never ever happening. 0 in SMP, SMP, different section. We'll discuss SMP soon. Don't worry. But yeah. Um, sometimes a member can't be active because of reasons beyond their control. If someone's taking a 1 month break, I think I kind of agree they shouldn't be in the guild anymore. I feel like if someone's taking a 1 month break, they should have hovering now. Um, that's something that potentially we haven't done in the past, but that's something we're doing in the future. Um, I kicked Floofy, which is something I didn't want to do, but like Floofy was dead, and he's planning on being dead for a couple more months. Um, if you had to go inactive for a week, that's not the end of the world, as long as you DM an officer. A week's not the end of the world. It would take longer to go on hovering and wait the entire waiting list time. Floofy isn't dead in real life, he's doing military stuff. I think people who are completely dead, who just die randomly, or who have like a 1 month break should go on hovering. I agree with that, which is what this document says. Anyway, I think it's time to move on from activity, not gonna lie. But if anyone has any suggestions, right now the suggestion command isn't working. So if you want to DM me or an officer, we can add that to the Trello manually, for things that we want to discuss in the actual suggestions channels. Summer, for summer, we have plans on making it so if anyone says they're busy with school, they're gonna get yeeted. Is there a YT channel? No. But yeah, summer, you can't magically be busy with school during summer. We're expecting a bit more activity. Summer school, yeah, but that doesn't take up. That's not as stressful as normal school. So I get wrecked by summer. Okay, okay, right. I'll rephrase that. People have more time during summer. However, you'll probably be more dead in summer. That's worrying, Flip. Um, okay, shh. I'll just pretend I didn't say anything. But yeah, we expect more people to be we expect more people to be alive during summer. Generally. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't say anything because the people are shouting at me. Anyway, I don't know why you guys do summer school. It's weird, but um, yeah. Anyway, let's move on past activity. You guys have to do summer school if you're not smart. I wish the UK did that. That'd be fun. Then we wouldn't have any dumb people. Anyways, I'm gonna continue. So our next topic, I need to read the officer chat. SMP. Yay. If you don't like SMP, that's fine. I still think you should be involved in this discussion. It's not fully about SMP. Um, However, I still think everyone should be in the discussion. Anyway, topic. Stop spamming with random crap. Thank you. Otherwise, I'll just increase the slow mode to like 30 seconds so people can only. What's the topic? SMP. I've just said that. Okay, I'm gonna put the slow mode on 15 seconds. I want actual feedback and actual discussion. I don't want random crap. Yep, Flip, that's fine. You can put in a paragraph or a long sentence. You don't have to spam it in separate lines. Anyway, SMP. So let's quickly discuss SMP. This shouldn't take 40 minutes, I promise. Anyways, oh, we have so many more things. So, I'd say that the main thing surrounding the SMP so far has been that when we release the SMP, it kills the guild for a while on Hypixel, because everyone wants to be on the SMP, not Hypixel. Um, let's discuss some solutions to that. SMP won't be out until December is all I'll say. There's zero point in releasing an SMP over summer. Maybe slightly after summer, once we have everything done, but there's a zero point in releasing an entire thing to have to reset it like a month later for the release. So for now, is the SMP actually popular? Yes. The SMP was previously our most attended event. It had like 55 people. Not everyone in the guild wants to play SMP though, and I think that's the issue. Lots of new trial members don't want to play the SMP. Lots of people really just want to. SMP happens once a year. We can afford Hypixel being dead. What about those new trial members that joined during that time? They're not going to sit and wait, 6 weeks to make friends. They want to make the friends in the first couple weeks, which is the issue. Yeah, some people just don't enjoy SMPs. That's fine. We can encourage them, bro. Actually, I don't think you understand. Trial members, not all of them want to play SMP. We are not forcing trial members to play SMP if they don't enjoy SMPs. I hate SMPs with a passion personally. I don't like playing them at all. Um, we're not removing SMP. I think that's a bad idea. I mean, that was something we've discussed. We aren't turning the SMP on. I'll release the map. SMP is going to be down. It's too expensive. People don't realize how expensive the SMP is for a 1.16 SMP. What happened with the TCF Olympics? Summer. Small player cap. Okay, can we stop spamming with random shit, please? So let's discuss. Small player cap for the first few weeks. Enough to keep people on Hypixel, but room for people to play on the SMP. Yeah, I think I don't know what numbers. I think we should discuss that in an actual suggestion. Um, it's gonna be vanilla. We can still have a limit. Time limits are something we've discussed. People really didn't like that. Will only increase the people not playing as they can't get on. I disagree. I think people will go on Hypixel. The channel is locked for guests. If Akuna wants to change that, that's fine. Maybe the server being closed at specific times. I think during events, the server should be closed no matter what. I don't like the idea of people not attending events because they're busy with SMP. That's something that's going to change this time. The server will be off during events, in my opinion. I maybe not everyone playing the SMP will go to those events, but I don't like the idea of. I mean, for one, the server cannot handle 60 people. If you've seen the server on 60 people, it's laggy. Um, what is the estimate for the player cap? I'd say 15, but I'm not sure. 20 is too high in my opinion. Can we keep on topic, please? I'm going to stop. I'm going to start blocking people that go off topic. Keep on topic. We don't need the random discussion. What's the topic? SMP. I've said that 6 times. Maybe you should have multiple small servers, and at the end of the day they sync. That's not possible. That's not possible. I'm not spending so much time developing something like that. I feel like anywhere from 10 to 15 is a good number. I think 10's too low. I think 20 is too high, so I think 15 is fine. We'll have AFK kicks orange. And if people bypass the AFK kick, they'll get banned. I think that's probably the best solution to that. What are your worries so we can expand on it? You mean my worries? I feel like people log in and people play on the SMP for 7 hours a day. They don't go on Hypixel, which isn't the end of the world. But when it means that the server's full, it has like 30 people online. It does mean there's only like 5 people online on Hypixel. New trial members join. They're like, oh, this guild's dead. I don't really feel like playing an SMP. I'm gonna just find another guild that doesn't have an SMP right now. And before anyone says that doesn't happen, it does. It happened a lot last SMP. It's not something I want to really see a repeat of. It's damaging to the guild long term. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like, oh, it's only once a year, but it's not. Even if they go and see the SMP and are like, oh, this guild isn't inactive, they're not going to find friends for the entire trial, which makes their trial harder to pass. It means that they're not. It just makes things much, much more painful than I think. Making it so the more time you spend on Hypixel, the more you can do in the SMP. I have a feeling that probably wouldn't end up working. Yeah, exactly what Iris said. Does everyone... Okay, let's kind of lock the chat for a minute. So that people will stop going off topic. Okay, so this is just a question. I don't want any off-topic stuff. I want yes or no's. Um, do people think a cap of 15... Let me move Ben in. Do people think a cap of 15 people on the SMP is fair or not? Do you think it should be lower or higher? Let's stick to this. Let's stick to people saying lower or higher. Does 15 or lower, higher, or fine? Does 15 people sound like a good number? Lock, false, E. Okay. Most people are saying fine. There's nobody saying lower because it's too expensive, obviously. Nobody's playing it. There's nobody saying lower, so I'm not doing a poll. I can see with my eyes that people generally are saying higher or fine. Can you make it so it's high on the first day and next day it goes to 15? Sure, I don't really see a major issue with that. However, for the people saying I don't think 10 is high, 10 isn't high enough. For more of an adaptive player cap, that's pointless. I feel like making it higher. This is a problem. Making it higher. Making it higher means that people aren't gonna be on Hypixel much. Truthfully, we get what 20 people average a day on Hypixel, so I don't think limiting it to 20 is a great idea, considering that's pretty much most of the people online. Obviously, if it was during summer or something like that, it'd probably be like 35 people online, something like that. However, I don't feel like increasing the limit too much more than that is a great idea. Flexible player cap, that's a lot of dev time. It would require restarting the server every single time we want to change the cap. It depends. I feel like once the hype dies down, the limit doesn't really matter that much. Once the hype dies down, it's gonna be not many people anyways. You don't need to do a dot. You just add a reaction if you really want to. Oh, it's bumping your message, that's fine. What if some players play on the SMP for hours at a time? I think maybe. See, I don't like the idea of a player cap, but I think maybe something where we could have like a draining system where every so often it drains everyone currently on the server and lets new people in and gives them like half an hour to log in, and then it lets the people that were online before back in. Might work. I feel like a waiting list or a queue is probably not going to be a thing this SMP in the lobby. I feel like we should have something on Hypixel that lets you wait on Hypixel whilst playing Hypixel. Kicking people and having. So essentially, how the drain would work. What if someone is killing the dragon with her? That's something that we can easily check. That's not that painful. Higher limit on weekends. I don't think that's a major issue. I think 15 is fine, even on weekends. For killing the dragon and wither, we can easily make something that checks if the dragon and wither's alive. Takes like 2 seconds. How the drain would work, it would kick everyone and it would give you half an hour where you just couldn't log in. The bot could announce in guild chat when someone leaves the SMP. No, I feel like just a queue and then it messages you on Hypixel when the space or something like that could be good, and then you can only join the queue if you're on Hypixel maybe. And then it whitelists you for like 5 minutes and you have 5 minutes to switch versions and log in. Could be a good idea. That was kind of what I was planning. You just wait on Hypixel, you can play some Hypixel. Don't make the bot announce achievements, that's not gonna be a thing. Those people with the most activity on Hypixel would get queue priority? No, because again, as Ara said, not everyone has time. If there's an important event on the SMP, I think we'll probably have SMP events around the time of SMP, like killing the dragon. We'll probably lock down the end and have, a week after having like, an actual event where we kill the Ender Dragon together kind of thing. And then kind of lower it again after it. What if people bypass it by logging off before the drain thing? We can ban them. Bans exist. If people start like abusing stuff like that, we can ban them. That's their own fault. Obviously, if it gets to a point where we're getting like 5 people or something on the SMP, we can just turn that entire system off and just have a static cap of 15. However, during like, the first few weeks, I think that would be a fine idea. What if they were doing so important? You get a slash message from the bot, is what I said. If you don't see the slash message, that's your own fault. In game, on Hypixel. Like in the SMP, but then people could log off. The static cap is 15. That's already gonna be a thing, but I think the, kicks. would be a good idea. But yeah, people would just log off and log straight back in. What if they're doing something important? They're gonna get mad. I don't really see what could be that important. Again, dragon, wither, end flying. What do you mean by end flying? What do you mean by that, Elytra? I can put a block below someone's logout space or something like that. That's not the end of the world, honestly. During events, yeah. I feel like a PvP event would keep inventory on. Yeah, again, hosted by players, not official. Not everyone in the guild wants to play SMP, so that wouldn't be great for the people that haven't kept up with the SMP. What about a warning when you're soon to be kicked? Again, that would make it so people can just log off. And then they just bypass the entire system. I mean, I can make it so if you log off after the warning sent, you're still affected by that 30-minute thing. I can do something like that if that's something people want instead of a ban. But people that, on purposely abuse that or, realize the timings just to get straight back on would probably end up getting punished. I will say where it's gonna be vanilla in terms of everything apart from cosmetics and probably like this kind of thing. How often will a drain happen? No idea. We can discuss that closer to the time or in like equal suggest. Um, you could just start flying again. I think putting a block below people's Fairwall though, just to stop it, just in case. I don't want people, getting forced off the SMP. Oh yeah, if the items you dropped and you get kicked, they'll get despawned. I think a message, but then after the message gets sent, you're still blocked for 30 minutes would be the best idea. What if someone joins as soon as the drain happens? Will they get affected? Yes. Or if you mean like after the drain? I mean, yeah. A message for people that have been playing for a long time, reminding them to log off? No, that doesn't work. People ignore those. People can kind of do their own time management things. I'm not gonna force people to log off or anything like that. Doesn't sound like the best of ways to do it. But yeah, I think a drain system's a good way. Um, I think maybe if an officer wants to add that to the Trello, I think only Tom and like a couple of other people can do that. Tim maybe. If someone wants to add that to the Trello, we can discuss that in detail. Yeah, suggestion Trello. We can discuss that in detail in an actual suggestion where everyone, no matter what the time zone is, can discuss that. Anyway, moving on from the SMP, since that's only our second point out of quite a lot more. Let's talk about uniting the guild so far. The announcements that have been posted so far. Does anyone have any feedback on those? There's literally no other discussion about that, but does people have feedback on those? Oh, I'm just gonna say people who are listening after aren't. Has anyone been recording the chat? I just realized. I mean, I've kind of been like reading out what the people are saying and stuff like that, but like, oops. Sorry, people in the future. Love you. I can kind of just, record the chat from the top to the bottom or something like that after. I've been recording my voice, but not like audio, because I kind of expected just to mute and unmute people, but I kind of didn't stick with that. So, anyway, uniting the guild feedback. Does anyone have feedback? Let's stick to the topic again. From the two things that have currently been, people have been nice to new players. That wasn't part of the announcement at all, so I don't think that's changed. I'd argue that I've seen some stuff that hasn't made me very happy, but I'll talk about moderation soon. That's another topic. We have quite a few topics in this. I'll kind of include officers more in the moderation section as well. I did say officers would be able to talk, but I kind of forgot about that. They can just talk in event chat. It's fine. Anyway, does people have feedback? Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of just skip this part because nobody's telling me that they have feedback. For context, it was the application and the trial changes. Please make sure you've read the announcement before giving feedback though, because if you suggest something that's already in the announcement, I'm gonna cry. Okay, that's fine, right? I think I have feedback. Okay, Toaster, I'm waiting. I'll wait for you to provide your feedback because I don't think anyone else has it. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Was there a thing where you message people about a new member who has similar interests? Are very, very difficult to track apart from games. We have, similar games on Hypixel, however, similar interests aren't something that we think is possible. It'd be every single interest would have to be on the Trello board. Every single person would have to have an interest assigned to them. It would be very painful. A lot more painful than you guys realize. It's already very, very, very difficult to do trial members and recommend to people. I think Nap can vouch. I mean, I've got 2 trials right now. It's painful to find people, especially if we're narrowing down by time zone games on Hypixel and interests. That's so difficult. I feel like usually trials never attempt to directly talk to their recommendations. You know that you're meant to message them, right? You're told explicitly in the message that you sent you need to talk to them. You're the one who's expected to start the conversation if you're a member. If they don't talk to you back, you'll be asked after a few days how you found them. Um, but if they're not messaging you, that's either a you issue, you haven't created a message with them, or they're kind of dead, which is fine, and you'll be asked to tell us if they're dead, and then we'll kind of use that to help out with the thing. But yeah, if people aren't coming to you, messaging you, I think that's a you issue. We do literally tell you within the message you need to message them. Aris, again, you can send them a message. I'm sure if they're offline, if they're online, they'll reply. If they don't reply to you, then you can kind of, tell us this. Doesn't their message close? Private DMs? I was not best messaged by one of my trial people. We do ask after a week. I don't know how long you've been in the guild. Are you a trial or not? I don't know anymore. I think you've been promoted. You get asked after a week to provide feedback about your recommendations. That should be something that trial members tell us, that their trial people aren't telling us. Um, yeah. If you DM Nap with the people that you were recommended, we can look into that as well. I recommended people added to the players' trial channels. No, that was a suggestion. I think that should be discussed on like the actual suggestions because it's kind of quite separate. But that was something suggested in Uniting the Guild. That was something people kind of disagreed with. Sometimes we talk about private stuff. Sometimes we kind of warn people in those channels. I don't know if it's particularly fair to have recommendations in there. Again, you're told within the message you're given that you need to message them. You're expected to message them. If you don't do that, that's the member's fault, and we'll kind of start looking into that a bit more and messaging the member being like, why hasn't this been done? We asked you to do it, You agreed with it? There's no real punishments or anything we can really give surrounding that, but if you're given a trial member, you are expected to do the things in your DMs. I can't really put that any differently. I've just spilled tea on my pants. Oh no. At least it's not hand sanitizer in my face for once. Possibly blocking people from getting recommended if they don't do stuff. That was the plan. We've already got that. Um, yeah, that's exactly what happens. After if you DM us with the people that you were recommended to, if you remember, or we can kind of look over that. We can definitely do that. Okay, great. Um, okay. Any further feedback? Let's talk about applications. Is there any feedback towards applications? Because most of these are about trials. I hate people typing. I hate people typing C. Okay, we got one no. I don't really care about the no's. I care about the yeses, to be honest, and the feedback, so I can read out the feedback. Doom doo doo doom 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 doo doom do 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 do. I'm the bad guy. Show a template of good applications. We have that. If new applicants aren't reading the thread fully, that's their own fault. We have that in the tip section. I mean, we've only got one. Admittedly, we could add a few more, but yeah, there's examples already in there. If applicants aren't reading the entire thread, that's fully their own fault, in my opinion. But yeah, most applicants don't read the thread at all, so I mean, I don't know. I think people should socialize within the guild a bit before they're applying. We already changed that. Again, that was part of the actual announcement itself. People have to be in the Discord now. People have to have some interactions before they get accepted. That was part of the announcement itself. We already do that. Can you think of any other ways to encourage people to be active before their application gets looked at? We've already made it so you have to wait at least 4 days, which should be plenty of time to, interact with the guild. Most people do take that opportunity now, is what I'm seeing, but there's a lot of people that don't take that opportunity, and those people either get denied or we discuss them in a bit more detail behind the scenes. Lots of people also kind of feel like if, you haven't been accepted to a guild, there's no real point in interacting yet, but maybe we can have an example to show what kind of quality. Again, that's something we already have. It's on the thread itself. We can't do that any differently. It's already a thing. It's not on Discord, but at the end of the day, people can read the thread. It does tell you that in the application channel, which I need to update at some point. But I forgot what I need to update specifically, but I'm sure I'll get an angry DM at some point. By the way, DMing me with feedback isn't helpful. I'm not reading my DMs. If we are all saying things that are already here, I think the system's pretty fine. I don't know if I agree. I think applications can always be changed and made stronger. Um, However, if everyone here thinks it is, I don't think that's something that needs to be discussed here. I think we can probably discuss that in further suggestions. But yeah, I don't think anyone really has any more feedback on that. I'm happy about uniting the guild. It's done some good things so far. Obviously, we will be changing things in the future. But yeah. Okay, let's go on to suggestion changes, because this is kind of an interesting one. I don't think there's um too many Cookie Council here. However, this is gonna be a fun one. Um, so I kind of talked about this in Guild Chat a few days ago for anyone who was here. So let me discuss kind of my ideas for suggestion changes. I'm not reading chat at all right now, so if anyone's saying anything, officers can reply. But so this is kind of my idea. I was thinking either a new kind of either making it so the entire Cookie Council has this, or making a separate sub-team within the staff Discord and making it so mini event hosts and Cookie Council are able to join that sub-team. Anyway, so the idea of it would be a team that has a meeting, let's just say once a month, and they discuss all of the suggestions that have been processed that month, and they're going to be the ones kind of writing the announcement with things that are accepted and denied. They'd have full power to deny and accept every single suggestion apart from the ones that the co-owners feel like shouldn't be discussed by them, and we can discuss as officers. However, they'd have the ability to deny and accept every single suggestion based on the points raised. Obviously, they must provide a valid reason for accepting or denying a suggestion based on the comments in the actual Trello card. They'll meet monthly, and then one person in that group would write up the announcement, and they'd have the ability to post that announcement once it's been proofread by a co-owner or an officer, depending on who we decide. I think an officer would be involved in an officer should be really involved in kind of leading that, if you will, kind of like how we have a mini event lead. I think we should have like a suggestion lead. Anyway, what are people's thoughts on that? Should we make that more open or yeah? I really dislike the suggestion discussions. I used to go in the suggestion topic. Now that there's multiple channels, I don't know which channel got what topic. You can check pins. I don't know how we can make that easier, but you can check pins. But that's effort. In my opinion, that's an issue on your side, not something we can fix. If people don't want to put effort into discussing things, then that's not really an us issue. But at the end of the day, if we make changes and people don't like them and they haven't commented, that's fully their own fault in my opinion. We give people 24 hours to comment. It's pinned. I'm not sure if we can make that any easier. If you have ideas to make that easier, that's fine, but equal suggest it. Ahaha. But this isn't fully on topic. But anyway, the new team system, how do you think that should be handled? How do you think all of that should work? I can kind of paste the notes that I made quickly just in case anyone got lost. Also, I forgot to mention, in terms of moderation power, what do you think that team should be able to do? Do you think they should have absolutely no plans to warn people? Um, or do you think they should, like, warn as in just in the suggestion, not as an official warning? Or do you think they should have to ask an officer to do that? Or how do you think? Anyway, here's the notes on that. I'm so lost. Please listen. Um, anyway, that's the system. I like the concept of this team. I feel like it would make things more transparent and make people feel even more involved. You could set up a good balance between the freedom of the team and needing an officer to review. How would you plan on saying which ideas are the suggestion team process versus corners? So the idea would be a corner kind of just moves it from the main area of Trello, which is, after the discussion, to like further discussion, and then corners and officers discuss that within an officer meeting. But anything that's specifically within being discussed within the last month in the in discussion area, they can discuss. Everything, literally everything they can discuss, unless it's moved. Okay, so I don't think moderation power is necessary. How do you think that should be handled then? Do you think we should have it so they can tag any officer or just the officer on the suggestion team? Or do you think we should keep it how it is now and make it so officers moderate it? We have a separate part on moderation changes anyway. Okay, I like it how it is. See, I'm not sure if I fully like how it is. I see a lot of people being rude through suggestions and a lot of people going off topic a lot of the time. So I'm not fully sure if I like how it is. I'd kind of like more people to be able to moderate it, especially since there's not that many officers. Set solid rules, that's happening once we do the suggestion update. Don't worry. I hate how it currently is. It's a mess half of the time. But yeah, I think forwarding it to an officer, yeah, I think making it so they can just tire officers being like, hi, can someone deal with this? I think that's a fine idea. I'm not opposed to that. As long as they have the ability to tell officers there's something going on, please help, deal with this. I'm not a massive fan of the idea of like cookie council and stuff, jumping on people. Um, anyway, who do you think should be eligible for that as well? I think is a discussion that's needed. I don't know if it should fully be up to Cookie Council or if it should be everyone, because I know there's lots of people who don't want to be necessarily trusted council members. No, that means we've got to decide who's trusted and who's not trusted. That's no. Sub teams, you just ask for a sub team and you join it if you're on the staff team, in air quotes staff team, as in mini event host, Cookie Council. Or should we have that just as an open thing or an application? We already have a lot of sub teams. We don't. We have none that Cookie Council and mini event hosts can join. There's zero. Yeah. Again, I think there's only one person on Cookie Council who is. I'm not going to say anything. They'll be removed soon, is all I'll say. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about opening Cookie Council soon anyway, so we'll get to that point when we do it. But that's not an announcement I'm making in this one, because I don't know when that's happening. Oh, Hive just made an announcement. Not Hive, CubeCraft. Anyway. Accept/deny should rest on officers, not Cookie Council. I disagree. I think that Cookie Council and people who are actually in Cookie Council and mini event hosts should be trusted to accept and deny things. I think they should have full responsibility in accepting and denying suggestions based on reading the actual comments. I don't think they should be able to, it's not going to be one person sitting in a voice chat being like, oh, I like this idea, accepted, or oh, I don't like this idea. There would be an actual debate. There would be set rules and sets like procedures in force. There would be an entire team discussing it based on everyone's discussion. They'd read all the comments, be like, this is a cool idea, this is a cool point raised by this person. There are people who don't want to host events, or test them that would be a good fit. Yeah. But would that be a separate role on the Discord then, if that was the case? Should we recognize them by that, or should we just kind of have it as they're added to the staff Discord, they're on that team privately, doesn't really matter? Um, I think Cookie Council, I don't mind. I'm more than happy to give Cookie Council the power to deny and accept suggestions. If there's suggestions that I really don't like, that would be the cool and a removal thing. I think there should be rules so people don't see. Not really. I think we can just easily add something at the start that just says, "Hi, I'm name. I'm writing up all of the suggestions that have been discussed in the recent suggestion discussion meeting." I don't know if a rule's needed. Yeah, I think developers and stuff like that would already be able to join, in my opinion. But yeah, I definitely think everyone should be able to join. But I'm not sure how to do that. Again, should we have like a Google form with like a role like we do with Cookie Council? Would that mean that everyone can kind of apply for that? Should we kind of just pick people who we see replying in suggestions a lot? Because I feel like if we give people a role, people will apply for the role and never actually use it. They won't turn up to meetings, they won't participate in the actual discussions in the actual suggestion itself, stuff like that. So I don't know, I still don't know if giving a role is a good idea at all. I don't think so, Nap. I think they should have a discussion. I don't feel like an officer, I don't feel like okay, like if you've noticed during officer meetings, a lot of the time it's just that idea is awful. Here's a couple of quick reasons. That idea is good. Here's a couple of quick reasons. It's not really like a full discussion. I think adding a separate team means that a lot more effort and care gets put into that. And I trust that we'd pick decent people in the community to argue those points a lot more. I genuinely feel like community members should have more power in things that are going on within the guild, and I think this is a good way to do it. I think maybe start without a role, and if there's confusion, add one later. Maybe, that's a good idea. How many people are you thinking? I'm not sure right now. That could be something discussed soon. I don't want to add too many people, but I don't really know if it matters too much. I think it would probably be something like 15 people or something like that, but I'm not sure if a role would be the best idea. Will the team will the team decide on suggestions on meetings? Yeah, they'd have to be in the meeting to do the actual suggestion accepting and denying. Yeah, testing and hosting events shouldn't really be an important factor, I don't think. I mean, Cookie Council was originally set up to kind of be, the voice of the guild, kind of referring things from the guild to officers, but it's kind of changed from that quite a lot over time, so I don't really think that is the case anymore. Yeah, I think everyone should be, I don't know, and then if everyone does have to be in voice chat, do we only allow people with mics to join that or not? Because at the same time, I don't know if, people can really get their point across very well in text chat all the time. So I'm not sure if people with mics or people without mics is a great idea. Discuss that. People without a mic can make really good points. That is the case, but it also makes it much harder to be forceful about your point, which can be quite difficult during a discussion in a meeting. I'm all for it either way. If everyone kind of like agrees with that, I'm more than happy to add that. But I don't want the voice chat to be completely silent where everyone's talking in chat. Otherwise, yeah. You should be allowed to give your opinion even if you don't have a mic. Yep, I agree. So I'd say as long as we don't have it so everyone in the meeting is completely silent, so it's an actual voice discussion, then yeah, I'd say there's no real issue with that. Um, so again, should we make it, an announcement, everyone can join? Should we have it so it's permanently open, or should we just invite people we see discussing suggestions in suggestion discussion? Should it be invite only, or should that be a form, or let's talk about applications and joining that team? I think invite only could work, but that also can rely on time zones and stuff like that as well. I feel like if a person has a mic, 9 out of 10 times they'll use the mic. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really think there will be a lead of the team apart from an officer. TTS, that's something we can add as long as people don't mess around with it, but I feel like they probably wouldn't in an actual meeting. I mean, TTS is sure it's annoying, but at the end of the day, I think the issue with that is people often don't read the no mics. I think that would be a bit different in an actual meeting, but yeah. Yeah, exactly, A9. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, the TTS bot's absolutely awful currently. If anyone can find a better one, feel free to DM me, by the way, and I'll add it. It's absolutely awful, the current one that we have. I really don't like it. However, again, can we talk about applications or joining that team? We can kind of focus on the no mic thing at some point in the future. I don't really care about the accents part. I care about having like either a queue or so it says who's exactly speaking, stuff like that. Invite only the first time, application second round. I agree with that personally, but I don't know if everyone will. Because I think that could result in some bias from officers being like, if you're not friends with officers, you don't get in. And I don't want that. I want everyone in the community to have a voice, not just people who are close to officers. Stop DMing me, I'm not reading DMs. Everything should be in a public channel, not my DMs. Okay. Favoritism is kind of annoying. It's not that big an issue within this guild, I don't think. People see it as an issue, and it's definitely an issue at times, but it's not a massive, massive, massive issue. I think personally, I'd probably add a lot of people that I don't agree with and stuff like that, just because I know that those people are going to have interesting points. I'm going to move on from this point soon, so I'd like applications are better than invite. Since invite, you can only give so much information about someone, but at the same time, on an application, what are we going to ask? Are we going to give someone the example of a suggestion and see what points they can raise, or what? Because it's all really about reading the suggestion discussion that's went before it and basing points off that, which can be seen in a suggestion discussion channel. I don't really know if that needs an application for that. Yeah, that can be seen from a discussion channel. I don't know if that necessarily needs an app. Because I know we've denied people from Cookie Council for not really being active in suggestion discussion before, which I don't think is a good idea anymore, because that's just not what Cookie Council is about anymore. Maybe in the future, Toaster. Maybe being like or maybe just DMing an officer, being like, I'm interested, and then we can kind of review you based on that. I don't know if an application per se is a good idea though. It's even like officer applications, for example, aren't really that helpful a lot of the time. Like they're cool indicators and stuff like that, but applications, I've said this even with guild applications don't necessarily show people's personality or their true, motivations for doing things. Like applications are just a mess, and there's no real better way to do it. But yeah, Yeah, exactly, Walker. Kind of like, I'm gonna say this and only Walker will understand, kind of like MA, or MA's old form. Goobs, I really want kind of like bigger answers rather than, random crap. The issue is people are putting a lot of random crap in, a lot of the time. I'll lower it to 10 seconds though, that'll be nice, but please, 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 keep on topic still. Okay, anyway. Or you could just edit your message if it's in the current view. It's fine. But yeah, I think we should stop discussing this as much. Certain world problems, I already see they're getting controversial to a point where it doesn't help anything. I think invite only based on what people are saying in the discussion channels is an okay idea. Yeah, I don't really think asking people's opinions on like abortion or something like that is a good thing to have in a guild up like an application for a team or anything like that. That would just not work. That was just an example, by the way, but like I was just trying to think of a really controversial issue. But like I don't see any kind of reason for that. So no, I don't agree with that. I think just inviting people based on what they're saying in the discussion channel is the best idea, personally. Yeah, exactly, Nap. I think we should just invite people based on what they're saying in suggestion discussion. I don't think we should accept, the people that are just being like, I agree with this idea. I think we should accept and deny the people that are more, structured within their approach. I don't necessarily agree with everyone that people have already suggested though. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of discussion. I see people like Glitch, um, probably Goobs obviously, but like heavily getting involved in those discussions, heavily giving a lot of points, um, that kind of thing. And that's kind of nice. And that would be the kind of person I would. I don't think an application's a good idea. I think, yeah. Anyway, continuing. Let's change topic because we've been talking about suggestions a lot, and we're like an hour and 40 minutes in. Anyway, changing topic. Next topic. So, let's talk about the Easter system. Um, although it's not really finished, I think we can still discuss the Easter system in quite a lot of detail. Goobs, you're gonna be biased. But yeah. So this is my personal feelings. I think it should maybe be something other than quests next time around. I feel like, and this is kind of my own fault in before Tim kills me. I feel like it should be a bit less rushed. We should take a bit more time on it. For context, for anyone who doesn't know, Tim got dev like 2 weeks before the actual system was supposed to be done, so I kind of rushed him through it. So that was my own fault. But like, I feel like we should put a lot more time into that, rush it a bit less. Put a lot more effort into some things, especially like the centering of the basket image, stuff like that. Don't kill me, Aries. Um, and I also feel like we need a lot more advertisement of that system outside of the Discord itself. There was no tweets about it. There was a forum thread, but forum threads don't really work that well. There wasn't that much, promotion or hype built outside of the Discord. I know a couple of people DM'd me being like, a couple of people DM'd me being like, oh, you should have only done this with guild members, so I don't know what people's thoughts on that is. But but like I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, let me read all the comments so far. Way too luck based. Yeah, I agree. I do feel like it was quite luck based, which is why we added power ups after a few days. But I don't know necessarily how to do that without it literally being who has the most time on Hypixel based. So I don't know. Easter Part 2, no, it'd be summer. Remove the Mega Wars quest. Mega Wars quests were removed ages ago. That was removed on like day one. Rotten Egg. I don't really like the Rotten Egg system too much. I feel like the Rotten Egg system was planned to be a lot less messy. It is kind of messy, but yeah, that is my own fault. What I was thinking is doing a Christmas version where we have coal instead of rotten eggs, and maybe we could have something different. But now, of course, see, it was much harder to kind of discuss all of the specifics with everyone because the idea was private. I feel like this time it's a lot easier to replicate anyway, so we can kind of discuss it a lot more before the actual event and ask for people's actual opinions on it a lot more. Like, we only gave it to Cookie Council like 2 days beforehand, so I feel like we can discuss a lot more of the specifics easier this time. There's nothing really collecting based other than quests that's daily. I feel like there could be. I feel like we could maybe make our own quest system rather than using Hypixel's with the Hypixel API. Maybe make it on Discord instead of Hypixel, something like that. We could have a lot of different ideas. Yeah, that was the idea. Nap would be like a tree. You get presents underneath the tree, and you get coal instead. Um, I don't like the quests. Um, yeah, I mean the idea of it was to make people play games that they don't normally play, or communicate with people that don't play that game, and kind of, talk to them about it. And I think it worked quite well. I genuinely think it worked quite well. People are still interacting with each other through it. I think it's great for interaction. And I genuinely think it is an amazing system, but I do feel like it needs some tweaks. I feel like maybe we could do something in Discord instead of on Hypixel, but I'm not sure how that would work. Does anyone have any suggestions for a system other than quests? I think is the main question. Because I don't know. I think questing is quite niche, quite only a few people per se. Activity that requires spamming in channels, so no, not really. I feel like other ways would be easier. I feel like maybe some kind of unique goals, custom quests. Yeah, I like the idea. Hypixel activity, again, you can just AFK. Discord minigames, potentially. I'm thinking something a bit more. If you've ever looked at really decent games on how they structure achievements, instead of having achievements as in, like, oh, send 1,000 messages, something a bit more, unique, kind of like TNT's games, the TNT's games achievement where you can't move your head, rather than quests. So, making unique things. If you stay for an entire month, stay for an entire event, you get a power up. I don't know. I read that wrong. Matchmaking for 30 minutes. Yeah, exactly. I think either power-ups and then a Hypixel system for that, or something, more unique than quests. I don't necessarily think quests is everyone's best friend. There's a lot of people that just didn't want to participate because it was quests. I named Juice off the top of my head, but like, I don't know if Quest was the best of ideas. I think it was the best of ideas. Just to check it. But yeah, I think maybe either making our own quest or making it on Discord. Talk with 3 to 4 people at a time in a VC. That requires you to. It's difficult because time zones again with that one. And then of course, what happens if you can't join a voice chat? Then you just wouldn't be able to complete it. Um, what happens if you're really anxious? Stuff like that. It depends. It Mentified, that isn't really the system that this is though. That could be a good event separately, but I don't feel like that could be a good long-term event. I'm really considering the kind of same system as Easter for Christmas. I think, like hunting events and scavenger hunts and stuff like that can be kept to a single event rather than. I don't feel like we could spread that well enough. I feel like that event was really fun though. Not really. I don't think that kind of event would work for a long-term event. It was indeed fun, but that's not this system. I feel like we want to stick with the same core system so we don't have to entirely recode it. But yeah, something repeatable, but I don't want it to feel like fully luck based or fully grindy either. And I also don't want it to take up, 10 hours of your day. I want it to be, an hour or two at the most. Something that you can complete every day for like a week. Something that encourages people to be on Hypixel or on Discord, our Discord or, Hypixel. Um, I don't know. I don't know what people's ideas. The problem with that is that there's only thing that's repeatable daily, and that's quests. Not really. Feel like something a bit more unique, like kill a specific person in Skywars, kill a guild member in Skywars, kill a guild officer in Skywars, something like that could be a thing. Doesn't necessarily have to be Hypixel quests. It doesn't have to be all custom quests. It could be like randomized. I think Skyblock was one of the main things stopping people from playing it as well. But I don't necessarily know if having Skyblock quests is the best of ideas because it limits people quite a lot. Exactly, so coded. Having unique things mixed with other things could be a good idea. Not all Hypixel quests, some custom quests as well. Quests could be based on games you play. That kind of defeats the entire point of the system, though, is the issue. Where we really want people to play games that they don't normally play and play with people that they don't normally play with. Like a lot of people started playing Walls and found that they really enjoyed Walls. I don't necessarily think, oh, play a game that you normally play and do absolutely nothing differently is the greatest idea. And I've just spilled tea on myself again. I need to stop spilling tea on myself. Yeah, I don't know if that was the best example, by the way, Glitch. I was just giving a quick example I could think of off the top of my head. Yeah, it needs to be stuff we could easily track. We cannot track that at all. It needs to be trackable by the API. Good luck tracking that, is all I'll say. Utilize the guild housing. That's something we've thought of about mini events, but I'm not sure if that would... I mean, it could be good for a small quest once, but it isn't the best of ideas for a long-term quest. Or like a long-term system. By the way, we only have one more topic after this, don't worry. The next one's going to be kind of controversial, but we'll see. I feel like quests would honestly work the best. I think some randomized custom ones could be interesting. Beat the daily parkour. Yeah, that could be something we'll do. Well, our plan originally for this event was to have a static card where you'd play the same game or the same quest every single day and you'd get a boost off doing that. You didn't need to complete it, but it was kind of like a static. It would give you like a 5% boost or something like that. But A9, what about the people that don't play Skyblock? How would we cater to that? We want to cater to both the people that do play Skyblock and the people that don't. Not gonna lie, people who don't play Skyblock aren't gonna be able to run 10 floor 7s, so I don't know if that's the best of ideas to do. It needs to be something simple that you can do in, 5 minutes or something like that in Sky, or like 10 minutes within Skyblock. That doesn't require a load of armor and stuff like that. It needs to be something simpler. I want to include Skyblock players, but at the same time, it can't be stupidly hard. There are going to be people that don't play Skyblock. Maybe, I don't know what sea creatures are, not gonna lie, I haven't touched Skyblock for ages. Mine 5 colos. I don't know if that's trackable by the API, if it is, sure. Level up 2 skills is going to be impossible for the people that have 50 skill level, which isn't everyone, but we have to kind of think of that. And it's going to be much harder for people. Okay, but A9, that's going to be harder for people that play Skyblock than people that don't. So I don't know if that's the best. I think maybe a set amount of XP could be a better idea rather than entire level up. I think maybe something like you get 10,000 XP in mining in Skyblock, and then you have to sit and mine in the mines for like 20 minutes or however long that takes. You could take people's Skyblock stats into consideration, maybe, but that's a lot harder than you think. Get a game breaker. 10 out of 10. Okay, anyway, if anyone has some like actual decent ideas for that, I think maybe a document with that would be nice. You can throw me that, and we'll kind of look into how difficult it is for developers to do that. have a reaction of some sort to note whether you play Skyblock or not. Maybe. Anyway, let's change to our final topic, since there's only like 19 people or something left. Our final topic, um, it's moderation, but it's not full moderation. We're not gonna go and talk about every single tiny little aspect of moderation. But moderate, Walter, you missed the announcement. The announcement was trial team opening. Calm down. Anyway, moderation. So, I'll first talk about the new change within Guild Chat. The new change within Guild Chat, for those that aren't aware, is the shitposting rule. What are people's thoughts on that? So the shitposting rule, for context, is that you're not allowed to post, random shit in Guild Chat after, like, in the middle of a conversation or something like that, because a lot of people were getting quite annoyed by that. For example, Thames posting his planes, Dayfruits posting his random, I don't know what he normally posts, slop memes and stuff like that. Yeah, some of the Skyblock memes. Should we not call out names? I mean, we shouldn't, but I mean, everyone's seen it. Is the main issue. I don't think we should attack anyone for it. At the end of the day, it wasn't enforced at all. I don't think it's their fault, and I don't want to sit here and blame anyone for that. I think that was more officers' fault for not enforcing that rather than anything else. But at the end of the day, I think everyone kind of realizes at this point it's more to make guild chat nicer for people to talk in, especially if we're talking about activity and increasing the activity. Should we could we add a channel for random posts? We have guest media. But Billy should know if it's out of context or not. Not really. I don't understand memes. I admitted that within the message I sent. I don't think it's fair to expect every single officer to understand absolutely everything that's being posted. But I definitely think officers should sit and read the conversation. Can moderation officers get moderation guidelines? Um, that's something that can be discussed in an officer meeting rather than here. But yeah. That's something I've kind of wanted for a while, but but I told you that time and explained it, and I still disagree that that was on topic. That was, you can't post a joke that has nothing to do with the topic and then post a meme and expect that to be on topic. It's like if I say, one sec, let me do a joke here, and this is going to be very on topic. And then just posted like a gif of a cookie. It doesn't make any sense. That's not on the topic at all. I understand what you mean, and I get it, but it wasn't on topic. And I feel like it wasn't on the general topic of the chat. It was on topic of one message, but that one message wasn't the topic. It's difficult. And of course, at the end of the day, it was okay, saying dad jokes isn't allowed, saying dad jokes is allowed, but not a massive gif straight after it that has nothing to do with the rest of the topic. It's it's getting to a point where it's either people follow that rule or we disable images completely in guild chat. And I don't want to go down that path, and people definitely will not like that in any shape or form. I already know it's not going to be liked, but I feel like it's either people follow that rule seriously or we disable images in guild chat completely because it makes it really difficult to talk in guild chat. Yeah, I don't want to do that, obviously, but people need to respect and understand that interrupting in the middle of a conversation. No, Dad. Said no. Go away, I'm recording something. Well, anyone who was on my like OBS recording will know what he said, but yeah, he didn't stop by the way. He just came in after I asked him not to, which is kind of annoying, but you know. But yeah, I think it's just it's just yeah, that needs to be followed is the thing. And I have a few different ideas, specifically about the whole bald and bad thing. I think we're gonna have an actual rule about that in the future because that gets out of hand quite quickly. Yeah, Menta, I'm not gonna do the whole image disabling thing yet, don't worry. That is gonna be something I review over a longer period of time. But if people don't follow that, something needs to be done because it is insane how much it goes off topic. I realized this the other day. For example, if are we allowed to send gifs of dead chat? I'm not worried if it's the chat's completely dead. I'm more than happy for you guys to post shitpost then. But I'd say, you know, kind of let people have a normal conversation, and if they do, kind of stop, kind of thing. Are all the changes we make here going to be announced? I mean, that's already been announced in guild chat, so yeah. Yeah, I am. I have an announcement planned. I need to write it up. I've got like notes on it. But yeah, that's already in guild chat. If people don't follow that, that's their fault. So if two people are talking, then we can't just send a gif of someone riding a skateboard. No, that's shitposting. Can we have a more often bot change log? No, because the bot doesn't change enough. What's the point in posting an announcement every week about the bot changing if not that much is changing? It automatically gets posted every 1,000 changes, and that has a good amount of content in it to have an announcement. Otherwise, there's no point in having that as an announcement. But yeah, it's just the interruption of conversations that I'm worried about. So, is it interrupting a conversation if chat is dead? Again, if there's no conversation happening, you're not interrupting it. I'm more than happy for you guys to post memes if there's no conversation at all. But at the same time, if it's like a huge update, can you manually post a log? Yes, but there's no huge updates that have happened since the last one. It's like the Easter system, we're not going to just put in a log. Again, A9, if you want to make something that makes a bit more sense, like a document, I'm more than happy to kind of enforce that. But if people are like talking and stuff like that, then yeah, shit posting is fine. But for example, if people are, you know, having a conversation and you post a plain picture in the middle of the place randomly, even if someone asks you, this rule's already in guidelines. It's been in guidelines for ages. It is, where is it? Images and video, I think. It says, and I quote, random images, images slash images, barely, posted for no reason, aka shit posts, are highly discouraged. These should go in the guest memes channel. It already is in there. That's something people should have been following a long time ago. We're actually enforcing it now, and for now, we're just going to delete the message and say, please don't do that. At some point in the future, we'll rediscuss how we'll handle that. Yeah, well, that's fine. If guild chat or guest chat isn't, you know, flowing very fast, like it isn't flowing at all, people haven't sent messages there for ages, you're more than welcome to just post like a dead chat or something, like a joke like that. That's fine. I have no issues at all with that. It's just when people are, you know, having a conversation and you post random videos and stuff like that. I've seen a couple with officers doing it as well, which yeah. But exactly, Goobs. Perfect example, Goobs. Um, when like there's just a normal conversation and you know, but yeah. I'd also say if you do kind of want to have a discussion that is separate to the one going on in like guild chat, for example, let's just say like you know 10 people are talking in guild chat about the same topic and you and a friend kind of want to talk about planes, you can kind of move that to guest chat as well, and that won't affect anything, and then you can, you know, post your images there as well. I mean, I'd prefer it in guest media, but I'm not gonna fully complain if it's done in guest chat. But yeah, the rule also does apply to guest chat, by the way, if you're wondering. But for guest chat right now, it's not the end of the world. We're not gonna kick anyone for shit posting, don't worry. 1 week, Walter, after the top 5. I think 1 week's plenty of time for people to finish it. we aren't adding a General 1 or 2 because General 2 never gets used. People still spam in General 1. Mineplex has that. Like, nobody uses it. It's completely pointless. What if we ask a person for a random Skyblock meme and he's... if someone's already having a conversation and you come in and start another conversation, that's... Again, take that to a different channel, in my opinion. I don't mind if, the conversation naturally flows to that topic, but don't just, like, interrupt conversations with, like, a different topic. Take that to a different channel, in my opinion. We have guest chat, we have guild chat. Yeah, exactly. Um, it's like it's like if everyone's having a conversation and then I suddenly start, I mean, I've done this. I'll admit, 100%. I've changed the topic and I'm working on stopping that. Feel free to like message me and be like, stop it. But I'm not above the rules with that specific thing, but I've done that before. I'm happy to admit that. I think I probably did it today, not gonna lie, without really thinking too much about it. But I think I did it when it was kind of dead though, so I'm allowed. But yeah, if people are talking about things that aren't appropriate and stuff like that, you can change the topic and DM an officer. That's the one time you're more than welcome to do that. I'd still say, DM an officer rather than trying to handle it yourself or telling people not to do that, since it's not really your place to do. It's more an officer thing. But yeah. The officers, but you can talk by the way now. Do you guys have any comments on moderation changes for that specific thing? Thank you for this amazing discussion.
Bruh, you let us talk when I have to
Problem,
leave in 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, this
Okay.
is the end part.
LRS.
I doubt we're gonna go on for
Okay.
another 15 minutes, but I wouldn't be surprised. But continue.
Anyway. Yeah, I think like there's this I don't know if it's still going on, but like people were just like when we were having conversations, like some people would come in and just do like equal tames or something, or like equal at
Exactly.
tames, etc.
Exactly. And even if that, exactly, that should be in guest media. I don't mind it if nobody's talked for 10 minutes and someone does themes, play-ins, or whatever it was. But if there's a conversation, that shouldn't be in there. People
Yeah.
doing that, I think people, provoking that should also be told to go to guest media as well. You can ping him, or
Yeah.
you could just ask him for a plain picture in DMs. It's not the end of the world. I'm sure he wouldn't complain about his plain picture being in a DM instead. Okay, I'm gonna discuss the next point in terms of moderation. So there's a lot of new trial members coming into the guild, and obviously trial members don't. By the way, bro, actually, you might want to, come into this part as well. You can speak, but not yet. Just wait
But
until I'm
not yet.
finished the current point, and then you can speak. Um, a corner can allow you to move to speaker. I'm reading.
No.
So there's a lot of new trial members coming, and a lot of the new trial members are the main people causing issues with moderation. I've seen a couple of arguments and stuff like that break out with trial members being, the main people involved in those arguments. I'm muting Aris because Aris, your mic's awful. Local mute yourself, please. I didn't mean that, but okay, sure.
Whoops, sorry, I tried to press the I'm sorry, whoopsies.
Okay. Anyway, so I think, new trial members, it's hard to kind of be like it's hard to be like it is often new trial members causing a lot of the issues. I also see a few older members causing issues, but it's often new trial members causing issues, and it's kind of difficult because, I mean, we can say something in their trial channel being like, rules exist, follow them, but it's more difficult to punish them before the end of the trial. So I don't know. What are people's thoughts on trial member moderation? How should we handle that? Should we be more strict? Give them a bit more of a chance? Like all of that is essentially. Should we enforce it the same? But then should that affect a trial, etc. Bro, actually, you can talk in voice chat if you can be bothered to.
I feel like well, trial members since they're new, I feel like they could be given more like a bigger
Exactly.
chance than
That
other
was
people. But then once they have a warning, they need to like already know that,
Yeah, I feel like we should be more strict because if people learn bad habits early on, then they'll just stick to that as a guild
exactly.
member. So
But
we kind of need to make stuff clear.
the issue
Yeah,
to
is a
start.
lot of the time we're also missing. Like, so a lot of our trial members right now are active in like Australian times, or like, after midnight for me. So like, how do you think we should go about reporting that, for example? Because I know a lot of members see these kind of things. How should we go about, getting that fairly reported so that we can judge a person's trial and use that as an option? How should that be done? Trial members are coming from toxic communities. I think we should give them a bit of lenience to adapt. Yeah, exactly. They don't always know the rules. They haven't been in the guild for ages. So yeah.
What about like either like a form or like some format that you can send to someone on trials
No.
team, like anonymously reporting someone?
No. That
People can just DM. Wasn't there like a
that
suggestion on
that
tickets or
literally,
something?
so I'm just gonna reply to that. The issue with forms and the issue with like anonymous forms and stuff like that is A, we cannot message the person asking for proof afterwards. B, it's too many different avenues to message someone. It's the same issue with the ticket system. You can
What
just
about a
message
report
them.
command?
No, we're not Hypixel, we're not
Okay.
Mindplex. It's a guild. We aren't turning into a server. You can DM people. I don't like the idea of a ticket system or a report command or anything like that. It's too many different avenues to report someone. I like the simplicity of just messaging an officer rather than having this entire stupid reporting system. We're not, you know, like we're not anything apart from a guild.
Yeah, and plus we would have to like go look in other places for tickets.
Yeah,
I just want to look at DMs.
yeah, it's easier to see when you have a DM rather than, looking at a Google form every time. It'd get messy, but I don't, how do we encourage members to DM us, especially with trial members being like, I don't really know if this trial member's a great fit, here's what they said. And then also, how do we reflect that back on those members being like, we are actually taking that seriously? We can't really, be like, oh, we're gonna kick this person. Obviously, in some cases we would, but like, often I think members will also think, oh yeah, we're being quite lenient, we're not kicking them. I'm not going to mention any specific names, but that's happened before, where someone's, for example, simped over a staff member, and they've reported that to us, and because we haven't kicked them instantly, they've been like, "Well, this guild's kind of annoying. There's lots of staff simps. We aren't taking it seriously." How do we reflect back to members that we are actually taking that seriously and we are doing something, even if we're not kicking them? And then how is reporting going to work? How can we make reporting better for trial members? I think with members specifically, that's just a DM for officers. I don't know if we can make that any more obvious right now, but we can discuss members at a different point. For now, I want to focus mainly on trial members, and then we can kind of discuss moderation changes a bit more as like a main topic in the next one. Dealt with isn't obvious enough though, is the issue. I feel like if we just say we dealt with it, I don't necessarily
Do you want to be
know.
more specific? Like I've given them a warning. Let me know if it happens again.
Maybe if everyone decides that that's a good idea, that's something we can do.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Do people feel like that would be kind of rude to do though, or do you think that's a good
No,
idea?
I think that's fair. You go in the guild, you have to understand that you need to agree to the rules.
Yeah, but I'm saying, should we make the punishment obvious to someone else? Is that fair? Is what I'm saying. Because
Oh,
then
not the
people
punishment,
could.
obvious.
The issue is that is exactly what is people are saying is needed for that to be kind of obvious.
We would just DM them back saying like, "Hey, we warned them."
Yeah, I don't think specifically anything further than that, but I think definitely for more serious things, you know, very dodgy jokes kind of thing. I'm talking about Nap, but like that kind of thing, we can be a bit more. We'll take this very seriously, kick them kind of thing. But yeah, oh, some people saying naughty words. You can probably assume what word I mean there. Stuff like that, which has only ever really happened once in the guild, but that was taken care of very quickly. um,
Yeah, I'm just gonna say creepy people are very.
yes, well, creepy people is a different thing that we can discuss in Officer. Yeah, not really related to trials, but yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that person.
Probably. Um, I think especially since the guild is so social, it can be hard as a social thing. I think it is fine for now, but people make mistakes. If it becomes more of an issue as a result of people knowing generalized outcomes, you can reevaluate that. But I think it's important to be careful with situations like that, especially as people can be embarrassed. I think that is an issue. I think a lot of people, a lot of time I see with trial members specifically, they don't really mean to break the rules or want to break the rules. They just kind of don't really know the community and what people in the community like and what they don't like. So they'll often make jokes to try and fit in, stuff like that, not really realize. And I don't know if potentially saying we've warned them is a great idea. Maybe just we've mentioned that this isn't the best of ideas to them. You know, maybe word it a bit differently. I mean, it is kind of a warning, but I feel like we may want to be a bit more specific with that, being like, okay, well, I've told them that this isn't the best of ideas, kind of thing. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, which I think, I mean, it's a good time to be kind of changing things to the trial team since we have a trial training in 2 weeks' time. So, yeah. Or however many weeks it takes for the entire application phase to be done. Yeah, I think something like that could be good, bro, actually. Just for people listening after I've talked to person and made it clear that it's not a good idea to do. If it happens again, let me know and we can take further actions. Okay, there you
Really? Why?
Very good voice.
go.
No. Oh.
Yeah, you have so many copy and paste snap, it's painful to find them. Um, but yeah, I think that's a good idea. I definitely think I think we can kind of, since we can talk about new trial members specifically, this is gonna be kind of a weird one, but in terms of staff simping, since I think this is kind of needs to happen, especially as we are seeing another moderator join the guild at some point. Um, what are people's thoughts on staff simping? And especially with staff, with new trial members. I see a lot of new trial members coming into the guild being like, "Oh my god, mod friend me!" How should that be dealt with? Um, we need to deal with it carefully, you know, not kicking them or anything for that, because it's not that big a thing. We also want to make sure that staff members aren't feeling uncomfortable. How should we deal with that? Because I don't want the guild to ever be seen as like a staff guild, like staff simp guild. Ever. You have no idea how much I don't want the guild to be known as a staff simp guild. Um, a lot of people join the guild because it's a high level guild with staff. That's never going to change, no matter how hard we make applications or anything like that. Mods should be able to talk without being called mod. Exactly, but that's something we've already established. How do we handle that? What about a
Did you read
staff
the
member
second part?
reminds them that they're a normal person? That's something that depends on the staff member. I don't think we can necessarily. What do you mean by a staff member? I think you need to be a bit more clear that it's a Hypixel staff or guild officer, by the way. Yeah, okay. That is something we already do, but like, how do we handle that? I feel like blatantly joking about it is fine. I don't necessarily think even joking about it's fine. I feel like joking about it also encourages it, but that's my opinion on that. If people make staff feel uncomfortable, we like to, you know, tell the staff members they can message us and come to us. I think Lava, Justify, and I think Wither's done that once. They've all kind of came to us being like, this person's making me feel quite a bit uncomfortable. Could you look into that? Um, so I feel like it's important that we do something about that. We already do make that clear within their trial channels, bro, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna go because I just realized
Okay.
I have a class in 1 minute. Bye.
I want to ask why she has a class at 5:30, 5:15. Anyway, how would you define simping? Asking for friend requests, treating the person special or differently because of their rank, being like, oh my god, mod duel me. Oh my god, lava duel me. Like asking just things that you normally wouldn't ask for normal members. It's kind of person by person. You can kind of tell, like one person will want to friend everyone in the guild, and then one person will just want to friend staff, kind of thing. This happens more in game than Discord, definitely. I don't necessarily think it's about, welcoming back staff members a bit more than everyone else. That's not the end of the world. But I feel definitely this is this is a lot more of a problem for trial members specifically rather than, members. I don't see members doing it. I think I've seen one member ever really ask for a friend request from a staff member. I've seen a lot of trial members do that. I think the key thing is that not everything is about the work that they do. They're here for fun, not because of their position. I think emphasizing that fact, as part of the trial process, mentioning it at the beginning of a trial. I don't think mentioning it at the beginning of every single trial member's trial, being like, please don't simp over stuff, is the best of ideas. I think that looks too weird to me personally. I don't know how best to do it without doing that though. I'm not a massive fan of telling every single trial member don't simp over staff members. That looks strange. But I do definitely think I definitely think simping, especially for new trial members, is an issue. It's always going to be an issue. How do we deal with that? How do we get reporting correctly? Stuff like that. We can, but nobody really reads those, Nap. Let's be real. um, Nobody reads the rules. I don't think I've read a single server's rules apart from Mindplex and here. So I don't know if necessarily telling them to read over guidelines, even though we do that in the original verification message. That's fine for you. It's fine for you, Tim, but most trial members don't. But treating people with respect doesn't necessarily involve simping. It's not obvious that that includes simping. Respect boundaries, yeah, but it depends. I think, yeah, the issue is after a verbal warning, people do stop. It's how do we stop that in the first place? How do we do reporting? Maybe making a custom message to send people who simp stuff, such as like, we already have that. That's already something we do. Trust me, we do take simping kind of seriously whenever we see it, but I think, again, it's with, reporting trial members specifically and stuff like that. Often members don't really want to do that too much. So how do we stop stuff simping in the first place? It's hard to do outside of just the rules channel. We already discussed that, Tim. I don't know if there is a great way either. I think definitely the application team can kind of look for signs that the person is gonna simp over staff members, and maybe maybe we could add another reason for denial with that. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that alone is a good enough idea to deny people. I don't know. I know within my own communities I get so many redirects during my conversation. Now friend me. I think it's difficult. Overall, I think it's hard and doesn't have to be an end-all solution. I think it's case by case. Yeah, I don't think I've seen a single person continue simping after they've been warned. Apart from one, but that was dealt with. But I don't know. And then it's also making that clear to guild members that we, taking staff simping seriously. We aren't wanting to become a staff simp guild. How do we make that obvious? Obviously, talking about it here is making it obvious that we, don't want that. But like, how else do we do that other than just here? Because let's be real, not every guild member is gonna read that, like, watch this. We can pin it in guild chat. I don't necessarily know if that's the greatest of ideas either, though. People don't check the pins of guild chat before simping over a staff member. Um, actually, that's exactly why we don't have pins in guild chat. Or we shouldn't have pins in guild chat. So I hope nothing is pinned that shouldn't be pinned. Ah ha ha ha. Let me see and unpin anything that shouldn't be pinned. No, okay, nothing is pinned. It's the exact reason we have the pins channel. No, there's nothing pinned. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of, pinning a message saying please don't simp over staff members. I feel like that's strange. I feel like that's not the greatest thing to see when you first join a guild. It makes it look like there's a big problem. I'd say this has the same energy as do not report players in guild chat. I've seen a few people reporting people in guild chat, personally. I know you haven't, but I've seen that. That is something that we jump in on. Not in the voice chat, but people always have a bias towards staff members to get an FAD. Gammasizations, maybe mention it somewhere in the forum thread. But if we mention it somewhere, it looks like a bigger issue than it is, in my opinion. I think that is one of the biggest issues. I mean, the fact that we mention it in rules, yeah, it does. And it's not really looking like a strict guild. It just, it looks more like if we have to put something there being like, please don't simp staff, it looks like a big problem. It is, I don't know how to really word that differently, but if you put something somewhere, like if I said, don't call me a noob, it looks like lots of people are calling me a noob. Simp is a very strong word. Being biased or, you know, treating staff members differently than you treat everyone else, I think, is the best way to put it. Exactly, Goobs. It is definitely an issue. It's not the biggest issue ever within the guild, but I know, for example, some people have left the guild recently because the staff simping kind of people are kind of starting to apply for the guild a bit more, if that makes sense. But that we can't really stop them from applying, but you know, the kind of communities that do simp over staff members are like becoming a larger and larger factor of our guild. Tim, putting rules in the actual trial message isn't a good idea. We want people to actually read the trial message. We don't want to shove a load of random crap in it. That isn't gonna apply to everyone. And plus, we already have guidelines for that. What's the point of repeating information? It's like a function in JavaScript. There's no point in repeating the exact same information in multiple places. Tim, would you like to speak? Request to speak, and you can speak. Okay, explain it in voice chat.
Yeah, so what I meant is I said it's more like instead of first seeing this is like when you get into a guild, you'll obviously have rules, which will just be kind of the common sense rules, like friends and things. But if you also see something like, oh, and also don't simp over staff, that's not, I mean, that's one of those kind of like unwritten rules, and that look weird if you'd have that just kind of in there, other than just rules, I guess. If that's like specifically mentioned, that looks strange, off place.
Yeah. Okay, you can mute. I trust you not to talk over me or anything like that. Anyways, okay. Most staff sims I've seen can be identified by their Twitter account. If they apply, someone should keep an eye on them. I just think messaging them being like, please don't simp over staff while you're in our guild may look a bit rude before they actually join the guild. So I don't know. Not really, cheese. I'd say you should probably do that in slash message rather than guild chat though, but not really. Or instead of directing it towards Hypixel stuff, we can make more general, less weird by saying, please make sure to treat that's already a thing in guidelines. Well, if they're trying to apply for the guild just to be in a guild with a staff member, they shouldn't be accepted, but it's harder than you think to deny people. It's like if people blatantly tell us on their application, oh, I want to be in the guild because there's a staff member, we already deny them for that. But that's not what all of the staff simps do. They kind of, you know, disguise it a bit more. It's harder, a lot harder than you think, to, you know, deny people. And then, of course, it's like, should we deny their entire application? Should we deny their entire application just because they're a staff simp? I don't know if we should. I think maybe we should definitely mention it and be like, you know, don't do that, but I'm not sure how to do that. Yeah, I've noticed that a few times. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's some staff simps that will go to rather extreme lengths to harass people and stuff. Obviously, those people aren't going to get in the guild, but yeah, it happens. I mean, I guess the situation does fall under causing drama. We not really. We have a rule. We have an explicit rule. Um, we have an explicit rule in the guidelines channel about simping over staff members currently. People don't read over that. I don't know how to best. I mean, it depends. Can we keep the venture on topic a bit more? Maybe mention read the rules well in the trial channel, but we expect every single person who joins the guild to know the rules. Like, we expect that. Reminding them, I don't know. The issue is the rules right now are quite big. People don't want to read that. I don't know how to put that any differently. I don't think even reminding them to check the rules is going to make them. Yeah. Don't frequently bother staff for unimportant reasons. No, because that to me. So this is what that exact statement reads to me. That means I can bother them about reports because reports are important. I can bother them about questions about Hypixel, but I can't have a casual conversation with them because
It should
that's
be
not
the exact
important.
other way around. It
Exactly.
should be that. Yeah.
I feel like it's just treat them the same as everyone else is fine, but like I don't know how to enforce that specifically. It's a very difficult thing.
Not how the rule itself is written or how the guideline is written. It's more that people don't read it or don't pay attention to it.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
any
the actual
rules. I
wording
don't.
cares that much.
Okay. I don't think any rules would help. If a staff simp wants to simp, a rule won't stop them. I think warning most of the people that join with that intention does stop them. Generally, from what I've seen. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we can prevent it. We have staff members in the guild there, that's always gonna happen. I don't know. I don't think we should deny their entire. I don't know. Do people think it should just be a warning, or do people think that should be an entire trial being failed? Is the question. Okay, pretty much everyone seems to agree with the warning. 2 warnings then fail. I don't think it should be a second warning for that. I think 1's enough, honestly. If you're less lenient, that could be a set of precedents. It depends. How do we set precedents for new members, especially? New members. It's like if we set a precedence right now for all members in the guild not to simp, that's fine for current members, but that doesn't really last long term. New members are the main people doing this, so I don't really think setting a precedence for current members affects anything long term. It's like if we say don't staff simp in announcements right now, that's fine for our current members, but in a month or two when we have new trial members and announcements have been posted and that isn't the first thing they see, probably going to continue. And honestly, I don't think that would be a solution at all. I don't think that would work. Hmm. I will say this mini event has been quite a while already. I am back. Hello, Lava. We are talking about something that kind of affects you, so you might be a good person to kind of talk about this. We're kind of talking about staff simping within trial members and how to kind of avoid that. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. But yeah. Yeah, since it's the new members, it could probably be added into the rules. We already have it in the rules. That's the issue. Again, I think people saying that it should be added to the rules proves that the rules aren't being read. Generally. Not like you specifically, I don't really. That's not like an attack on you specifically, but I don't think they're being read generally. I don't know if that's an issue within itself, but at the end of the day, we're going to enforce those rules either way if you've read it or not. So I don't know if it is a case where there's nothing we can do about it. I think we can do some stuff about it. I just don't know what we can do about it is the question. I think there's definitely a solution to it. Okay, Lava, what's your idea? You type your idea whilst I'm talking. But I definitely think there's a solution to it, but I'm not sure what that solution is. It's such a difficult thing. I don't want people, you know, leaving the guild because they think it's becoming a staff simp guild. I don't want people avoiding the guild because they think it's a staff simp guild. I don't want to be known as a staff simp guild at all. So it's a mix of like, how do we stop that? I don't think right now we are widely known as a staff simp guild, but I think that will probably start increasing, especially if we start getting more staff members, which is happening. And I think that's an important kind of thing. It can be reduced, but most of them are either straightforward or can come out as rude. Yeah. I genuinely think Lava might have the best of ideas here, since he's probably experienced and handled it a bit more. And I think he has, you know, personal experience with dealing with it. But again, I don't know. I don't mind people. I want obviously guild members interacting with staff members as they would any other member. I don't want them to, you know, I don't want them to be discouraged from messaging staff members or talking to staff members or wanting to play casually. I don't think that's at all what we're going for. I don't want people to be scared to talk and chat with a staff member because they feel like they're gonna get kicked. But at the same time, I don't want people joining the guild just because there's stuff in it. That's gonna happen. We all know that's gonna happen. But like, obviously we don't want that to happen in any shape or form. But like, it's gonna maybe in the format of the application. No, because people will just say no. Do you want to simp over staff? Are you joining our guild to simp over staff members? No, I am not joining the guild for that reason. That doesn't change anything. It's the same. Like, we used to have a question about would you report people in guild chat? It didn't change anything. We had more people asking for moderators to do stuff in guild chat then. Yeah, exactly. Lying exists. I don't think that would change anything. I mean, it definitely gives the hint that we aren't accepting that, but I don't necessarily think it does stop that. What about a testing on trial channel that asks questions about the rules? I think that could be an interesting idea, actually. I think maybe like a quiz-ish on how like different things within the guild could be a good idea. Maybe depends how we do that, but that could be a good idea. You could create a question on the guild application. Did you read all of our guidelines? Please put your name backwards. The issue is I don't think most people applying for the guild do that, and I don't think it's fair to deny people that haven't done that, not gonna lie. Most people applying for the guild aren't gonna read the rules. Lots of people like hardly even interact in the Discord, so I don't know. Make people give a TLDR of all the rules, that's just making the application harder, lowering the accessibility of the guild, and a lot of different things. I do expect them to do that, but I don't think they should necessarily be tested within an application of doing that. I think, put it this way, if you're looking for guilds, you see a guild that asks you on the application to list all of the rules, TLDR of all of the rules, I can guarantee you're probably just going to go to a different guild rather than listing all of the rules. It's such a long process for no reason. I don't think that's a great idea. I do definitely think that the questionnaire, once people are already in the guild, because if they're already in the guild, we expect them to have read it. And clearly they've taken the time to apply, they've taken the time to wait in the waiting list, they're in the guild, so they should, I think testing trial members is maybe a good idea. What about when they apply and bring up the staff could reach out to those guilds? We already do that. Kind of. I mean, I definitely think we should do that more, but we already do that. people are typing. I don't mind spending like until this dies on this exact topic. There's no other topics apart from this, by the way. If you're fully uninterested and have 0 comments on this topic, there's like nothing else further from this. The background checking procedures are in the applications channel, if you want to quickly look over them on everything we do. I feel like half of the time, testing people on the rules, they'll forget them all, just pump and dump. I don't think so. I don't want people to remember every single word in the trial channel, but like, the rules aren't that wild. They aren't that difficult. It's not like Mindplex, where Mindplex has a load of like not common sense rules and confusing things. The rules are really common sense. I was on a Minecraft server where you apply through Google Doc, and to be approved, again, quoted though, the issue is that puts a lot of demand on the people that apply for the guild, that not necessarily the best of ideas to put a crap ton of. It's the same reason I don't really like requirements. It puts so much strain on the people applying. I don't think the applications are where it's at. I think either between applications and getting into the guild, or whilst they're a trial member, is the best place. I don't think after trial member. I don't think this is something that happens whilst people are a trial member. So I think it's something. Yeah, I think maybe. Where is the staff rule thing? Let me find it. It's in guidelines. The guidelines is quite long. It is in cheaters and reporting, I think. No, is it? I mean, that kind of is, but guidelines, guidelines. Did I not mention it? I swear it's mentioning guidelines somewhere. If anyone wants to find it. Huh. I'm like 99% sure it's somewhere in there. If it's not, I can add that. And I'm kind of annoyed if that's not, because I swear I put that in there. I don't think it is, Nap. I don't think people read it. But I'm like 99% sure it's in there. I'm just not sitting reading every single rule of it, like, right now. But, like, I'm 99% sure it's in there. I haven't edited it since it was last posted, so if anyone wants to, like, copy and paste it, it's definitely in there. I'm like 99% sure it's in there. It says something like treat everyone the same. It's not very, you know, specific to staff members, which I don't think it needs to be. But it definitely says something about treating everyone the same, regardless of rank and stuff like that. Rudeness. Spamming. Annoying behavior. Okay. Okay. I mean, the fact that I'm not able to find it means it's hard to find. So yeah, I'll review that and put a bit more effort into that. Okay. Okay, I'll sort that on Sunday then. But I still think even with it being in there, it's going to be an issue of people just not reading it. No matter, even if it is in there. Even if it is in there, I don't think people are necessarily going to read that. So I definitely think that's something that we should focus on either way. But yeah, I'll add that to the rules, don't worry. I can't go around saying don't sim for me, please. No, but you can message Officers Lava if you see it happening, and we can, if it's a trial member, we can deal with it. But you can also, who should I DM right now? Anyone on trial team. But you should definitely, just from like to specifically to staff members, you should definitely be like, please just treat me the same as every guild member. Especially, I mean, I know you friend everyone within the guild, but like, if people ask for friend requests specifically, kind of be like, you know, treat staff members the same as everyone else. Tom, the issue is people wouldn't read the specifics of the rules if we give a TLDR, and we want them to read the specifics of the rules. Smart lava, I saw that. Smart. Why is guild chat dying? Ares isn't in the voice call. She's pinging me for no reason. Thanks for that. Okay, let's just do a theory test. Do you think a quiz within trial channels would work? At what point in the trial phase should we do that? What kind of content should we put on that? I don't think it should necessarily be just about the rules. I think kind of more of a general thing. Butoki. You guys should up Butoki, by the way, if you're in game, if you can. Like 2 questions would be fine. I don't know if 2 questions would be enough. I think more. I don't like how strict / official it's becoming in terms of the trials. I don't know. I don't like that either. I'm not sure. I don't know if a quiz is the answer, but I don't know if it isn't the answer. I don't know how else to do it. Because we really don't want people simping over staff members, but I don't know how to stop it. It's a very, very difficult topic. An optional quiz, if it's optional, it's not going to get done. I feel like maybe a trial member becomes a member, maybe includes stuff about the rules, already DMs you with that. I think, is there any trial members specifically within this call? Because I think trial members could probably, I mean, the fact that you're in this call probably means you're going to say yes, just because I think those are the kind of people that are, I think the trial members that are in this call are probably going to be the kind of people that are going to say yes and are going to put that much effort in, because they're in an event. But like, yeah, I think it would be wiser to ask trial members specifically. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, but at the same time, Raijin, most people in this call passed trial before we did all the trial changes. So I don't know. Trial is already. You do have to put a bit of effort into the actual trial channel itself right now. Lava, the issue is you should be reading general guidelines before joining the guild. I mean, we can tell people to read the guidelines, but it's the same issue. I don't know if everyone does. And even if we put a TLDR there, I'd personally skip over that. Easiest way is to make it a part of the application. How so though? How do we do that without making the application take so long to a point where people just don't apply? It's about balancing still getting applications and not scaring people off applying in the first place. Because I genuinely think the solution comes between applications and being promoted to guild member. I don't think applications is where it's at, personally. I mean, we could definitely maybe deny, or at least it should definitely be in who do you know within the guild section. I think if people mention staff members, we can kind of message the staff members and be like, do they actually know you, or is it just that they've seen you? Yeah, I think that is a good point, Tom. But it depends. I think that could maybe be where it's at. But I don't think asking a separate question about staff simping is the way to go with that. could be a small stage in the app process. Again, making apps harder probably isn't the best of ideas. Exactly, Goobs. I think that's the issue. Asking people, have you read the rules? Everyone's gonna say yes, even if they haven't. Quoting the rules makes it stupidly hard to where people are just gonna go to a different guild rather than ours. But then people won't apply in Discord. Yeah. Can we stop talking about Skyblock and event chat, by the way? This isn't a Skyblock event. Town hall. I don't know. I think we could definitely maybe put some extra contacting of staff members within the guild. I'm probably gonna end this at 11 p.m. So 14 minutes either way, if we don't end before that. 'Cause this is going up for quite a while. The issue is coded. The other guilds don't solve the problem; they just let it continue. If we find a guild with the exact same problem, chances are they haven't solved it. That's probably why we're finding them. I'm not reading PMs. If you sent me private feedback, it shouldn't be in PMs. It should be in event chat. Yeah, and you can DM me and I'll read it after. I'm not reading it right now. I mean, isn't a trial member that fills out a rigorous application indicator of someone we want in the community? I don't know. I've said this so many times. I don't like the fact that applications are applications. Applications don't show it. Like, I don't. I really want to find a better way of doing applications without applications, but I'm not sure. That can be something for a very, very long time in the future. But I don't like the fact that applications are a thing. We don't just look at the amount of words people write in applications, by the way, we actually do read the applications in detail. The amount of words doesn't affect anything in any shape or form. Or at least they should be, and if they're not doing that, they're gonna get an angry DM from me. Ahahaha. I know Bloodzo puts a lot of effort into reading his applications, and we often get some quite funny memes out of that. I'm mentioning Bloodzo specifically because of the memes, not because Oscar doesn't do it. Don't worry, I love you, Oscar.
Get called out.
Harder apps. The issue is the guild's big. The guild is big, but keeping it big is harder than you think, is all I'll say. Um, hmm. I just don't feel like making the apps harder, because the thing is, a lot of the people applying for the guild haven't chosen our guild specifically, they're just looking for guilds, and making it hard to apply, I don't think is the answer, truthfully. Even if you're like, but the people that put a lot of effort into their applications are the people we want, sure, but then we get a lot less applications, and it's not really something that would work out. I can say that right now. I can't really fully explain why, but less applications equals less good applications. It gives us a lot more variety in applications. It's hard to explain here. Application team kind of understand what I mean. I think definitely messaging staff members and talking to the staff members within the guild about this issue is something we should definitely do. I mean, bro, actually, the staff members are members of the guild. they should be active so we can talk to them about that anyways. I'm more than happy to send a message to, I think just a simple message in guild chat whenever it happens from the staff members being something like, please treat me the exact same as every other member within the guild. I don't know. Yeah, if you want to do that, Lava. If you add me into it so I know exactly what you're saying. But I think it's about DMing a guild staff member and saying that, bro, actually, and if a staff member's shy, which I don't think any of them particularly are, I wouldn't describe that. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. They're a staff member. It's kind of difficult to be shy and be a staff member. Is all I say. It would be on a different platform outside of Discord. Yeah, I know what you mean, but like, yeah. If you want to do that, just send me a screenshot, like, or just send me the text of what you're saying, just so I know what you're saying. Because I don't want it to come off as like you're not already doing that, but like, I'd rather that be kind of something that all staff members within the guild say, being like, if you see it, don't sit over me, please, kind of thing. I gotta eat food. That's fine, Lava. It doesn't have to be something done like right at this very second or anything. But I feel like a mix of community members, especially guild members, being like that's not okay, and guild members coming to us telling us that that's happening, and also staff members coming to us telling us that that's happening, should hopefully make it easier to crack down on. It's never ever gonna fully go away. It's always gonna happen because we have staff members in the guild. It's always gonna happen. We can try as hard as possible to deny those people, but they're gonna get in eventually, no matter how hard we make applications. No matter how many rules we have against it, it'll always happen. But yeah. Does anyone want to talk in voice chat about this? Who just can't be bothered to talk in text chat? I'll take that as a no since nobody requested it. Like me, for example, originally I was looking for a guild, just any random guild. I was denied during the trial phase, but being in voice chats is making me apply. Yeah, I no bias, but I'd say our guild is one of the better ones if you want to be in voice chats, talking to people. Oh, not biased. I mean, most applicants that are denied don't apply again. I think something like 5% of the people that are denied apply again. But yeah, it's a very, very small number of people that actually apply again. There's some people that are genuinely dedicated and really want to reapply, and those are the kind of people we want in the guild anyways, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's an actual statistic, but it's a very, very low number. I think Oscar can probably provide a backup. But like, yeah, people have taught Oscar to fuck off quite a few times. I think in voice chat, it's quite funny. But yeah, 5% is a rough number. But yeah, it happens. Anyways, judging by judging by everything that's been talked about, this has been quite productive. I definitely want to do one of these again. It's been quite fun. Now my internet's gonna die with a 3-hour video. But yeah, it's been quite fun. I want to do these again. I want them to be a tiny bit more structured next time, so we don't just, talk about things for 3 hours. Um, um, but I want to do these again. These are great. I like them. I think definitely we should have used Craig. I don't think Craig would have helped. Recording. I don't think Craig even works. But I want to do these again. I want to make it so people can talk in voice chat because I forgot about that point. To be fair, I definitely want it to be more of not just me talking, other people talking. I kind of said officers were allowed to talk and then forgot about letting them talk. Um, but I want it to be more people talking. I want it to be a bit more structured, so it doesn't go on for 3 hours. Stuff like that. But we've definitely got quite a few points and ideas to take away and put into the officer meeting, which will be tomorrow for you who are here. I need to announce that. Not tomorrow, Sunday. Shh, I forget what day we do it on. What time is the event tomorrow? I don't know, 1 p.m. I think. Do you think I remember? Jackbox event Monday. I'll be there. I like Jackbox. So yeah, I think this has been productive. I want to do it again. I'm probably gonna DM some people with invites to the suggestion team after this. And we'll see how that goes. We might not. It might not be a permanent thing in advance for anyone who does get invited. I might stop doing it and close it down after like a couple weeks. So expect that. But I'll see what happens. I don't wanna promise it to be permanent, is all I'll say. Chalk, you need to be alive for that. But yeah, Chalk, you're cute. Love you. The original social team. Him and Thames carrying. You're slightly late, by the way. You're only 2 hours and 55 minutes late. Anyway, yeah, this has been productive. I've liked it. If there's any private feedback you'd like to give that you didn't put in public chat, you can DM either me or an officer. I've got a lot of DMs, is all I'll say right now. I've got 28 DMs. It's quite fun. But, yeah. We'll go ahead and, eat now, I think, and stop it. But this has been productive. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm gonna make sure that it's uploaded so you guys can re-review it, or review it if you're not here. And yeah, I want to make the guild a bit more open in terms of feedback, so yeah, we'll be doing these a bit more often. So yeah, okay, goodbye. How do I exit? There's no exit button. Oh, that's the button.
It says
Hello, video people. You're very cute. If you see this, DM me. Okay, bye. I'm weird.